Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back. What's happening? I'm Cakes, that's D. You all know us. If you don't know us, then well, you're late to the party, my friend. I'm going to start with being ashamed of you. I'm not even going to ask how you are. Chuckles. Do you want to tell them?
Fuck it. Yeah, I've drunk like that much beer, and I'm feeling it already.
I am. Where's Vlad? Vlad.
It's Budweiser as well. It's like 4.5%. But it goes to show often I drink.
Pussy, yeah. Highly. Pimas, Vlad, how are you guys all doing?
Got another bottle downstairs as well, so we'll see how it goes.
You're going to be falling over. You're going to be showing your collection off, aren't you? Yeah. We'll be taking this video down tomorrow, just like Jed.
Yeah.
How are you anyway, Chuckles? What you been doing this week? What you been up to? I've been gaming. That's all I've been doing.
Pretty much, yeah, gaming. I've been making plans and stuff as well.
Plans to take over the world, Pinky?
No, at all. But to, like I say, cause, you know, everyone knows you used to go to lightsaber class, and I'm still in a lightsaber group, so I still have contact with them. Well, I've had some ideas to maybe help him keep his business going. Obviously, he can't do classes at the moment, all that. So I'm trying to put stuff together in a comprehensive way, so he might actually listen to me.
Sounds good.
Hi, Sue. Hello, guys. Hello, Mummy Dearest, and Jez, and
Jez.
Vlad, and Lee.
Again, if it's not 91.1 proof, shut the fuck up. He is. He's a pussy. I'm like, honestly, Dan. I've just told Dan, and Dan was like, "That's impossible." Like, how? Does that even make sense?
I'm that bad. I am that bad when it comes to drinking. Like I say, last time I drunk was Christmas, or I think maybe unless that hangout on Jed's was after Christmas, it was Christmas.
No, it was before Christmas.
So
yeah, great. I haven't done much. We've been doing a lot of housework. We've been I'll have to take a picture for you guys and show you next week. But we've kind of gone through all of like my clothes wardrobes and drawers and everything. And I shit you not, like a massive, great big black sack full of clothes to be donated, and then 2 or 3 further bags for life full of clothes to be donated. And we've just been having a massive clear out because
coughing and sneezing all over, and make sure you get that coronavirus out there.
Yeah. And other than that, I've been making dreadlocks for my brother's sister. No, that's me. For my brother's girlfriend.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Funnily enough, yeah, it translated as girlfriend to me. Yeah.
Well, so I've been making dreadlocks. That's been fun. None of my boys drink. They are smokers. Taken after you then, Sue. That's good. I guess. Donate them to me. I highly doubt they would fit you, Sue, because they're all like size 16 to 18 clothes. So I highly doubt they would fit you. If there was anything that did fit you, there isn't, because all of my smaller clothes are in the loft for when I eventually lose this weight, which I probably won't, because we all know that I'm lazy. Yay. I'm just fucking with you. Don't do the 91. It would kill him. It would kill him.
Definitely.
Piss off for you, a size 16
like,
Sue.
If I just like probably went glug and put the bottle down, that'd kill me. Let alone drinking an old bottle like he did. But
I got my dreadlocks out from 1996. That's the year my brother was born. I was 4.
96. I think that was the year I went to Glastonbury. It was either 96 or 97 I went to Glastonbury anyway. One and only time. Yeah.
The one and only time. I went to Bloodstock 10 years ago. That's like the only festival that I've actually been to that wasn't like an unsigned festival. Yeah, Bloodstock
Cool.
or BOA.
Yeah,
Bloodstock
I mean,
Open
I
Air.
was never really into like the whole gig scene and stuff. I mean, I went out and watched quite a few like live stuff, obviously when I was younger and that. But yeah, the whole festival things and that, no, not massively. I never had the money for it, to be fair.
It just especially now, it just seems like a massive waste of money when a ticket's £200 for 5 days. Plus, you've got to get a tent on top of that, all your food and your beer and everything, and you've got to buy like pre-packaged food because you can't cook. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you could cook as long as you weren't making a fire in the field. Like you just brought your own like gas stuff on that when I went. But it was only 75 quid a ticket when I went to Glastonbury, so that shows how long ago it was. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how much it is now, but yeah, I imagine.
Yeah,
it's a lot more than 75 quid.
There's like a special camping stove that you're allowed to take, but it can't have more gas than blah blah, and it has to be a certain size. So essentially, you can choose from like 3 different models that each cost 70 quid, and that just seems like I get that they're safeguarding and stuff, but I don't know. Hello, Jays. I'm just gonna call you Jay. That's shorter.
Yeah, JJ.
Your mum went when it was free.
Yeah, my mum was quite.
I didn't even imagine.
So she would have got around quite a lot. Yeah.
She would have got around. That's the way you're.
Oh yeah, she was probably a bit of a slag and all. Yeah. She'll probably come running up and give me a slap in a minute. But,
So the views expressed on this channel are not necessarily expressed by both parties. Disclaimer. So anyway, before Sue beats D with a shoe, which yes, we would all like to see, and it would make for entertaining video.
I'm not hearing footsteps, so I'm probably safe.
No, she's actually agreeing with you. She put, yeah, I got around. Okay then, Sue. Congratulations. Ding ding ding, we have a winner, folks. Anyway, free speech versus censorship. D, go, shoot, go on.
Yeah, well, the main reason, like I said, I put that title for tonight was because it does seem like it's going on an awful lot at the moment. Big and small channels alike, having videos taken down. Oh, pardon me. There's some that have even had strikes and stuff against videos they've done like a year plus ago and that. So it looks like they're really trying to silence everyone. And it's just craziness to me. So I really am feeling that fucking beer. And
well, I mean, one of our videos got taken down, and it's either because we were talking about coronavirus, or it's because we actually played a YouTube video on our channel. But I can't see it being that.
And the lyrics, I think.
See, I can't see it being that because there's no copyright strike. It just it would be copyrighted. It would say, and it said inappropriate content or doesn't comply to guidelines, which is really vague. So, yeah.
No, it is, because this is the thing. A lot of things getting taken down at the moment aren't breaking any guidelines whatsoever.
Yeah.
Again, there's just new guidelines. I watched Tucker Carlson the other night, and he showed a clip of Susan Wojcinski, or whatever her name is, who runs YouTube. Basically explaining that if it goes against World Health Organization or any kind of government stuff, then it's going to be getting taken down from now on. And the same on Facebook as well. So it's just crazy. I mean, I thought kind of like the whole reason we study history and stuff is to learn from our mistakes. Well, if our mistakes aren't being published anymore, how are we ever going to learn from them? I mean, I'm not even saying like people are making mistakes. I'm just like putting that as a point. And what's so wrong with being wrong? I mean, I don't get me wrong. I can understand if people are trying to push violence or whatever. Yeah, fair enough. But when it's just people yapping on and saying how vitamin C might cure something, or turmeric, or there's all these things going round, like there always will be. It's not going to hurt anyone if they try it, but they're taking videos like that and stuff down as well. It's crazy. It's just ridiculousness.
And the two things that you actually did just mention, vitamin C and turmeric, genuinely do have healing properties anyway.
Why I mentioned them, because and
turmeric's fantastic for arthritis. Well, I will. Turmeric's fantastic for arthritis because it's a natural anti-inflammatory. So if you have anything from an ingrown toenail, you can make a turmeric paste with turmeric and coconut oil, and boom, inflammation gone. Pow pow. But obviously, like, I feel like we always go back to people taking self-responsibility. Like, obviously, if you have something seriously wrong with you, you're not just going to spread your body in turmeric and hope for the best. Is he frozen? No. Okay.
No, I'm not. But
Good, like,
the trouble is, some people will. This is. No, I am definitely glitching out a bit. I can see that on the computer screen. But yeah, no, this is the thing. People will try crazy stuff, even if somebody hasn't said they should, even if they've just mentioned that they're doing it or they've heard it might be good. This is the problem. At the moment, governments are catering to the stupidest people around, and that's not good. Like, it's not an ideal situation, and especially when the government's created those stupid people or allowed those stupid people to.
But that's where, like, for me, it's frustrating when people put out these, like, self-help videos and natural remedy videos, and they can be helpful if you use those videos in the correct way. So for like, even stupid little things, every now and then I get ulcers on my tongue. So I found out that if you put sugar on an ulcer, it can help ease the pain. That worked for me. But obviously I'm not then going to go and put sugar on my toe because my toe hurts, you know? So it's like the YouTube police are getting rid of these videos that can be helpful, but keeping Katy Perry squirting fucking squirty cream from her tits and promoting sex among young people, you know, like, and they've got a Jason Derulo song that's basically telling women to give blokes head that are available to any fucking age, even under 18-year-olds, and that's just ridiculous. Well, under 16-year-olds or whatever age, you know, people think is acceptable for children to be having sex. It's just. It's there because money, you know.
Well, no, it's not even there because of money. It's there because there aren't any laws against it, and this is the major problem with society today. Like I say, we no longer use compasses. We use the legal system to guide what we do. So if there's no law saying you can't do it, then it's perfectly fine to do it until the governments catch up and make a law, and they never turn out to be laws anyway. Again, I mean, the whole idea of anyone having authority over anyone else is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how a law like that could be implicated, and how would you even phrase the law? But at the same time, COPPA is out for a reason to protect children, yet there's still these. I think a lot of the mainstream pop music, it's all very provocative, you know. So I don't necessarily.
Trying to think. All right, obviously I've listened to mainstream pop music while I was at work and stuff, but yeah, since I left work, I don't get subjected to any music other than what I want to listen to. So. Yeah.
See, I remember watching. I can't remember which channel it was, but there was a pop music channel on the TV, and my friend, she absolutely loved the pop music, so we'd have it on all the time, and you'd just see these like scantily dressed women dancing around a pole and dancing around a man, and I just don't think that that's appropriate for a 12, 13. I was 12 at the time. I don't think that's appropriate for a 12-year-old to see. Not only does that ingrain really bad body positivity. And I know body positivity is thrown around a lot, but what that can do to a young girl, like as somebody who has been a young girl, like it is pretty fucking drastic. And seeing that that's the way I should be, so I have to dance around men and be sexy to get men's attention. That's how those videos, because there wasn't an adult around, that's how those videos were portrayed to me.
Yeah. Like I said, as a man, I unfortunately, was quite I didn't mind watching their scantily clad women dancing around. So it's one of the main reasons I would stop on a fucking music video or anything, like if I was flicking channel surfing back in the days.
But as a parent, would you want your girls to see that when they were a lot younger? That's the thing. Like, do you want?
No, I was terrible. I didn't even like my kids watching Disney Channel, and that was before I'd even got into conspiracies and realised the sick shit behind Disney. I had just noticed that they were watching like the Miley Cyruses and stuff, and these girls were like making sexual innuendo jokes and all this kind of stuff, and it was sick. It was absolutely disgusting. So yeah, me and the ex had many arguments about letting them watch that shit. So
yeah, no, and that's what I mean. So it's okay for those to not be censored. It's okay for them to be out, but somebody telling you that turmeric's an anti-inflammatory is not okay. Well, like whoever decided where the line should be drawn should be fired. Like they're a fucking idiot.
And there is no person. This is what I'm starting to realise now. Or the people are very few. It's an agenda that's being followed, and they're using shame basically to push it, because they're using moves that you can't argue against without looking like a cunt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I said, they're winning on every little battle. Like I mean, they're knocking us down. So
what can you do? That's the thing. What can you do?
Well, I will maybe do a video on what I think solution-wise could be done and stuff, but most people just laugh because it will sound ridiculous. It's like one of my biggest things that I think we should do is literally just together start a fucking new police force that's not sworn into the crown, that's sworn into the people. That's what I mean. But everybody, oh fucking no, don't be ridiculous. How could anyone ever do that? So it will never get done because it will never get talked about. Like whether it's a good idea or not, there'll be nothing to come from any ideas, because all that will happen is the ideas will be poo-pooed rather than talked about, streamlined, made into something that could actually work. The old Mano, the Nemesis, how's it going?
And as well, the problem, and another issue is every time we try and stand against it, like us as a community, we then run the risk of our videos and our shows being shut down. It's like this is one of those things that's really difficult to talk about. Like I mean, you look at VB. When VB has to self-censor, and you can see it in his face that he doesn't want to self-censor, and he's having to say the ordeal just so that he can avoid algorithms. I mean, like a channel Jed and VB size, like both of them are over 1,000 follows. They should both be getting more views for how their follows are. But we all know that notifications have been stopped. You know, Jed would normally be here. I can guarantee that Jed and Paul and Madame, I guarantee none of them have had a notification because we're doing this a day late. They'd forget, you know. Like I guarantee that's why they're not here. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it could just be that we're on a different day and they've got other things to do on a Monday. I don't know. Right? I mean,
well, I mean that's possible.
Don't get me wrong. What you said is perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just giving you other things that could have happened. But
well, yeah, but obviously, I see what you're saying, but it's difficult because we want. I feel like we as a community want to be able to talk about things. I mean, on Saturday when I had to say 1939, because if I'd have said that actual word, that runs the risk of being flagged. When I was talking about mass graves in 1939, and it's difficult.
Yeah, no,
it's just
I don't even know
Mano,
how. This is the thing. I don't know how the
GED.
algorithms work. I only know how we're told they work by other people in the community. Right? I've never gone to a video where Susan Wojcicki's broken it down and said how the algorithms work, or somebody that's like actually gone in, who's an ex-computer programmer, broken it all down and showed us how these algorithms are working, what algorithms they're using, and that kind of stuff. So it's all conjecture to me at the moment. You can only tell that there is certain things that are going on. We just don't know what. Because there are plenty of people that say Jew, there are plenty of people that say COVID, there are plenty of people that use racial slurs like nigger and packy and all that kind of stuff, and their videos don't get taken down. So where are these algorithms that are supposed to be against all this?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I said a few bad words there. Bad words there. We'll see what happens. Like,
you said a few syllables that could cause offence to some people, and those people need to grow up and learn that they're just syllables and letters and words. Stop taking offence to fucking words, you morons.
Well, take offence if they're meant offensively. I certainly didn't mean. I was just using them as words, as examples of words that people say will get your videos and stuff taken down. Yeah. It's probably actually not against community guidelines. I wouldn't know, to be fair. I've never read the community guidelines and probably never will.
Nope. You have to strap me to a chair and put a sponge on my head to make me read them.
Yeah.
Just don't shave my hair. I like it. So, do you think that everybody should be entitled to say whatever they want, whenever they want?
Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
They should be able to say whatever they want, whenever they want. Yes, not do. I just want to make that distinction.
Does that include threatening behaviour, though? Does that include threatening words?
Well, they shouldn't. But they should be allowed to. This is the thing, because this is a lot of the problems today are because we live in today's times with our sensibilities and shit. If we actually lived normally like normal fucking people, right, you wouldn't have these timid little assholes that couldn't handle being threatened, or they'd know how to deal with it if they were being threatened, because they'd have a police force they could rely on, or friends they could rely on, or a system that could be relied on to help protect them against an attack against their living peacefully on the planet.
Hi, Chris. So, Chris. Should people be allowed, whether it's okay or not, that's not my question, should people be allowed to straight up go and threaten somebody? Like, allowed, because that's free speech. That is enabling somebody free speech. It should then not be aligned with free speech.
Yeah, right. It's right. Yeah, it's free speech, and this is the thing. We're never going to know who's who unless they're allowed to be them who they are. So yes, they should be allowed to do it. Should there be consequences for them doing it? Yes. Should censorship be one of those consequences? No. But like Mano's just put there, unfortunately, it's not that quite so simple, because although I agree with the whole natural law thing, like do no harm and all that kind of stuff. At the moment, we're not in that world, so there are people that make ridiculous threats because they have no idea what natural law is and how to live by it. But eventually, in the world I envision, there'd be no need for that kind of stuff. So these threats wouldn't be happening anyway. But yeah. again, pipe dreams and.
So as hosts of a show, should we be should we allow all kinds of speech? I mean, obviously, I kind of want to put this without the obvious. If anybody ever mentioned paedophilia on our show, they'd be booted immediately, unless it was.
Yeah, if they're advocating for it.
Certainly. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Unless they're hating on somebody who's talking about paedophilia, that's, you know.
Yeah, that's not censorship. That's just not us not wanting to hear that opinion that's out there. If you know what I mean. Censorship would be if somebody was to come on the channel and for some reason we allowed them to talk about it, then the company that the video was on taking it down. To me, that's censorship. Not wanting to hear some moron say something that you know is fucking moronic is not censorship. That is common sense. Like we choose who we want to listen to. But this is the problem with having rules and the regulators and all this kind of stuff. It's like we all bitch and moan at the moment about like, oh, YouTube doing this, YouTube doing that. I know there are loads of people on YouTube that have the technical capabilities to make up another YouTube site that would have zero influence from any government. Right? I know there are people out there, but nobody's doing it.
So I feel like.
Yo, Mick, sorry, how's it going? I was in the middle of a rant then.
What Vlad just said, violence that results in death is not free speech. Violence is not speaking. That's the distinction that you need to get. I think we need to get away from. I think, like Dee said a minute ago, there is a difference between talking and doing. So somebody's right to say whatever they want is different to someone having the right to do whatever they want, and causing physical bodily harm to somebody is doing. It's not speaking. So I think that's So I think that's the distinction that Vlad needs to maybe reword what he was trying to say, because saying somebody needs their ass kicking is sometimes needed, which is free speech. And yes, that is correct. That is free speech. But beating the living shit out of somebody isn't free speech.
No, but this is the thing. There's already laws in place to stop that. Like you're not allowed to incite violence. It's that simple. So, I mean, why any company would need to censor that? I don't know. Because it's already so basically the police should be dealing with that. If people are like, it shouldn't be down to an internet company. That's surely a criminal case at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Mano put malicious intent is in communications is breaking the law, and I feel like we weren't necessarily speaking legally here. We were speaking.
Well, even
whether somebody has the right to.
Even legally, it's no, because this is criminal. Once you're getting into breaking those common laws that do no harm, do no harm, cause no loss, don't misrepresent. Inciting violence kind of falls under that because you're trying to get harm done. So that I think that's where criminal law stems from, is the common law side of things, whereas legal stuff that's all your corporate crap. But we do actually pretty much have two laws going in this country. But,
and saying that somebody and the issue I have with malicious intent in communications is breaking the law. The problem I have with that sentence is I could say to Dee right now, I want to kill you. That does not necessarily mean that I want to follow through with those words. I could just be saying those words for comedic effect, for literally anything. I could say those words for anything and not necessarily mean them. And it's drawing that line based on, I don't think you can ever truly know somebody's intentions at all.
No, you can't. And see, you've gone on a brilliant point there. There's quite a famous story about that exact point, a miscommunication. I can't remember which king it was, or who it was he was supposed to kill. But basically, this king was pissed off with somebody he'd made head of the church. I can't remember names. I'm so sorry, guys, and this beer's getting to me. You guys will probably know the story, or a lot of you will. And he basically says to himself, "Oh God, will somebody rid me of this like arsehole?" Basically, and a few of these knights get together. Yeah, a few of these knights get together and go and kill him. The king didn't actually want that to happen because it then led the country into a load of shit. But it's quite a famous story that illustrates the point that you have got to be careful what you say, because there are weak-minded people around you that will misconstrue it. But again, that does come down to self-responsibility. And obviously, a lot of the time I'm speaking as if everyone already has that self-responsibility, which unfortunately they don't. And yeah, so yeah, I talk about Cuckoo Land a lot, but I understand reality and the reality of things.
So, story time with cakes. So, when I was 15 or 16, I was in senior school or high school if you're American, and this girl had made my life a living hell since year 7. And I was probably in year 10 or 11, and this girl had made my life shit. I'd taken a year and a half out of school. She had set 2 lads against me and hit me over the head with the back of the skateboard. I'd had by this time probably 5 or 6 attempts on my own life. Obviously failed attempts because, you know, I'm here. And honestly, she'd made my life absolute hell. It was horrible. I didn't have the balls to stand up for myself back then, because I was just this like downtrodden shell of a human. And one day I was in the park with my friends, and enough was enough. So I decided to stand up for myself. So I phoned her up. I found her phone number off a mutual friend of ours. I phoned her up, and I threatened to stab her. Now, obviously, from my perspective, I was in the park. I'd probably had half a bottle of vodka. I was being egged on by my friends to threaten her, to make her leave me alone. Thanks, babe. Because I was just so upset. But she'd actually recorded this telecommunications phone call, and she took it to the police. And she played this little fucking damsel in distress play. Her dad was a really high up lawyer in my town, and they got me arrested, and I went to court. Now, me being this sad sack 15-year-old, I thought she was serious. I thought she was genuinely upset, and I was mortified that I'd upset such a person over words. Like, I wasn't going to follow through with it. I was a 15-year-old, like tiny 5'4", size 8 schoolgirl. So yeah, after going to court with threats to kill and conveying my point, I got my sentence down to Misuse of Communications Act of something like 1990 something. Yeah, it was horrible. It sucked. But yeah, that's just an example of how words can be said and not censored. Words can be said because of free speech and not necessarily mean what the words were. Like, there was no intent behind them. The intention was to scare her, to get her to leave me alone. The intention wasn't to kill her, because I'm not a psychopath. So yeah, you know, thanks, Dan, for that. Farting in my direction. But yeah, so that's what happened, and it sucked. And hello, Jed. How are you? I told you he wouldn't get a notification. Told you, dude.
You were right. I was just about to say you were spot on with Jed there. Yeah, he didn't get his notification. But...
yeah. Rewind to 15 minutes in, Jed. You'll see.
Perfect, really, with the whole free speech versus censorship, isn't it? Like, I mean,
yeah.
You've got that bell there for a reason on this platform, I thought. So you got notified when people you'd want to be notified go live or put a video out or whatever. So.
Well, I didn't get a notification for Jed on Saturday. I just knew that he was going live. To be fair,
I got the Jed will be going live in 30 minutes notification.
I
I
didn't.
didn't get the other one, but I was already watching by then, so I'm not sure you get it if you're already on the screen watching.
No, I turned up at, I think, 5 past.
Yeah, he didn't go live for ages though, did he? He was late.
Yeah, yeah, and I just put my makeup on while he was, because normally I put my makeup on while he's chatting, you know. So yeah, Jed goes live every other Saturday, Mano, but his video from this Saturday, we can only assume that he took it down.
Yeah. And we won't mention why. There's no need.
No, we won't. No, we don't need to. But me and Dee had a.
We can all guess why.
We should apologise. Yeah. So yesterday, but both me and Dee just felt like shit. Like I was tired, but it was more like emotionally drained, and just like I said to Dee, I was like, I don't want to go online and be a performing monkey.
And I was like, yes, thank you, because
he was so happy.
Yeah. Well, I'd stayed up till 4 that morning talking to Vlad after Jed had taken it offline. So VB hung around for a little while yapping, then his battery ran out, and me and Vlad stayed yapping for probably another hour after that. And
yeah.
So I didn't even get to try and go to sleep till 4 in the morning. And I've told you why I have trouble sleeping after hangouts. We won't go into it.
No.
I had 2 hours sleep that night or that day. So yeah, I would have done the stream, but when you said you didn't want to, I was so fucking relieved. It was like,
I could just hear the relief. I phoned him up at like 8 o'clock and I was like, D, honestly, mate, I feel like shit. I really don't think I can do tonight. And he was like, yes. Woo! So yeah, I stayed downstairs for a bit with Dan, got frustrated with Destiny, and then I went to bed. And made some dreadlocks and made a video and posted video, and you know, where we go.
Yeah, I've not watched that one yet.
You didn't even know I'd made
today.
it.
I should say to all you Star Wars fans out there, may the 4th be with you. It is Star Wars Day today.
Blah blah.
So because on Disney Plus they released the newest Star Wars movie, so I gave that a watch last night. That was after midnight. So.
Thanks, babe. Exactly, Chris. Chris knows. Chris knows where it's at.
Yeah, Destiny's gay as well. I agree with you, Chris. There, mate. Yeah.
Star Wars is garbage, man. No. Garbage. I don't need to debate it. I just know that it's garbage.
No, it's amazing. It doesn't matter. It's a subjective experience.
Don't
for us
me.
all.
George Lucas got the sushi.
I suppose I should get it out for Mano then, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah. Jesus! Get wild.
They do like to show me lightsabers off. There. Has to be done. Has to be done. And I've got a lot more. That's just the only one that's got any power to it.
Well then. Is there anything else you wanted to say about censorship and free speech?
Yeah. If there are people out there that can sort of platform out for us, do it, please. Like a proper free speech platform, right? I mean, because BitChute, as far as I'm concerned, that's a trap. That I think they're basically trying to get all the truthers over to BitChute, so they've got no one to speak to except for other truthers. And I don't know, but if we can get enough mainstream people over to BitChute, maybe it'd work. But yeah, I can't see it working at the moment, and that's obviously where a lot of people have gone or threatening to go and all this kind of stuff. I mean, myself, even like when they start doing live, I'll probably do most of my stuff over on BitChute. Personally, I mean, I just there's nowhere else to go. But if somebody else comes up with a decent fucking free speech site, then we'll see what goes on. I don't know. But this one, I don't have the answers. I'm looking like at the moment. I'm like looking for people that are trying to sort shit out so I can expand on their ideas. Because, like I said, the ideas I have all get poo-pooed. So,
because your ideas, right? The issue I have with your ideas is you don't have a stepping stone. Like you don't have a starting point. You have where we are right now and where you want to be. There is no your plans aren't plans; they're goals.
goals. That's
You've
my
got
point.
the
Yeah,
end game,
exactly.
but you
No,
don't have.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Let's make a police force. It's not a police force. It's a police force. Okay, how? Exactly.
No, you literally.
That's your
This is what I
angle.
mean. You literally just start it. It literally like you've got to get enough. You've got to get enough people in enough areas
Okay,
to
so there's
agree
step one.
to a set of rules
No.
they're going to follow that aren't compounded by. And this is the thing. But it's got to be a big enough group that the real police can't just come and shut you down.
Yeah. Jed says it felt good shutting you down, Vlad. So good. Yeah, Jed, I got bored. I don't know if you rewatched any of it.
Yeah, we went on the movie talk, didn't we?
But so... they started talking about horror films, and I was just like, "Where's Jed gone? I don't want to talk about this."
That's where Jed was.
But no, they were talking about horror films, and I'm just such a. I don't like being scared. I have a comfort zone, and I like it. And yeah, that they were talking about all of these different horror films and rating them, and I just sat there for 10 minutes. I was like, nope, I have other things that I could be doing right now that would be much more enjoyable than this. Yeah, he is Jed. Funny story that you missed at the very beginning. He drunk just to the label and was already feeling it. He is such a lightweight. I have coffee.
Yeah, my brother come round earlier to pick up some shopping because we got a delivery and he'd had some bits tacked on.
Budweiser.
And some of that was beer. So I walked down the stairs, saw this box of beer there, and I just thought, oh, I actually fancy a beer. So I nicked 2 of them. With permission, so not technically stealing.
Stealing with permission.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
liberating.
That one gone now, so I'm going to have to go down and crack the other bottle in a minute. So you'll have to think of something to say for a minute or two. No, it's just a normal Bud. It's not Bud Light. Yeah, it's only 4.5%. There's nothing to it. Like I'm not some hardcore drinker that's going to get pissed tonight. Not on 2 bottles, but I will certainly have I've got a buzz on now, so I'm a lightweight. I don't care. I'm a fucking lightweight. I'm a smoker, not a drinker. I don't like fucking. I will smoke anyone under the table, but no, anyone will drink me under the table.
So again, anything else you wanted to add about censorship and free speech?
I'll probably add more to add, but no, I have no access.
For now, for this second, you're done. If you think of it and it comes up, shoot it at me. So I was looking at the news earlier. Moving on, I was looking at the news earlier on my phone, and 2 things struck me as something that I think needs to be talked about. Track and trace system. So for our Americans out there that might not have heard about this, the NHS, the National Health Service in England, well, in the UK, wants to deploy a tracking and tracing system so that they can track the movements of people who have COVID-19. They're trialing it in Isle of Wight, I believe, this week, or it might already be trialing. I'm not entirely sure. But it is essentially a barcode with a unique product label attached that customers can search for and request within the operation, and they can be applied to the patient's records, so they'll be able to scan this barcode and be able to see people's hospital reports and medical information. That to me sounds horrifying. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, it really is. Well, you have doctor-patient confidentiality for a reason, and it seems like they're trying to bypass that.
That's how I feel. It's an app. I believe they had them in China.
Well, it's all facial recognition in Chinese cities, at least. So yeah, they've got everyone. Well, you're told they've got everyone's information. I can't read Chinese or Mandarin or whatever language they actually write it their language in, and you do see plenty of videos though. But like I said, the writing's always in Chinese, so I can't confirm or deny it, unfortunately. Yo, cabbage knickers.
Yeah, I heard that they, in order to go into a shop, you had to show your medical information in China. Yeah.
But I mean, it seems like it's going to be coming in that way because I mean, you hear it on the news. I mean, all right, so, right. I mean, a lot of the conspiracy theorists at the moment, obviously, they're going on what they're speculating is going to happen and stuff. And one of those things that have been speculated, so just going off on a bit of a tangent here, is the supply chains of shut down. Now, like, as I mentioned a minute ago, and it's just popped into my head, like we got a delivery of shopping earlier, and there was only one item on it that didn't come through, and that was a rubber gloves. You know, the marigolds for doing your dishes and stuff, not like surgical gloves or anything. Everything else came through. It's like the tomatoes came from Morocco. So where are these supply chains shutting down? We're still getting food from Morocco,
and how do we still have rice?
If my memory serves correct.
Which is just underneath Spain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Across the water, yeah. I don't know. There's still rice in the shops, rice being restocked, and
we got a rice today.
As far as I'm aware, you can't grow rice in the UK. I mean, you may be able to, but not in the volume that Asian countries would grow rice.
Yeah, no, I think you need quite hot, humid temperatures for it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm not a rice expert though, so. But there's so many. The majority of the vegetables that we get in the UK aren't from the UK. You know, Jed just said something interesting as well, which I read in the news. Yeah, this morning, but it wasn't on my news when I was prepping for today. The latest news is that the Nightingale Hospital's empty. And yes, I saw that this morning, that the Nightingale Hospital in Birmingham is no longer on high alert because of the like deflation in cases in London. There's a lot less cases there, so people have been told to stand down at the Nightingale Hospital in Birmingham.
Well, the army have moved into Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah. Wait there. I'll put a link in the chat. But mindfulness. I told you I hadn't been on YouTube today. I have been on YouTube today, and this is the video I watched. I'm going to put it in the chat. Most of you guys out there would have probably already subscribed to mindfulness, to be fair. But no, sorry. Oh, it's because I'm logged into us, so it's been. Actually, I should be able to find it still.
And then the other thing that I found, I don't want to say interesting because it's coronavirus. Well, there will be a second wave, possibly, Chris. Yeah, I think well, I'll come to my other interesting thing in a second then, because the other thing that I read on the news today, that there's been, I think it was 233 or 244 new cases today, which is now the lowest amount of new cases for a 24-hour period since March.
Wow. Sorry, I had to go well down, but I finally found him.
Proud of you.
They put all sorts of names in that have got nothing to do with mindfulness. And yeah, got him. Give me a second. Sorry.
You're all good. So we're slowing down in the amount of new cases. So that will mean that they'll ease up on the lockdown, like Chris says. I don't know about the 5G. I'm not too sure. Hey, Dagan, and so they'll ease up on the lockdown, and then everybody will get coronavirus again. I think. Is that happened in Denmark? Did you say?
They opened all
the 5G stuff's totally muddying the water. Unfortunately, it really is. It's a separate issue completely, unfortunately, and by mixing them together, it's making people look a bit nuts because there's nothing to back up any evidence whatsoever. Like I said, we've had 5G for
a year,
well, almost a year in the UK.
Yeah.
So
Italy.
That link I just put in the chat, sorry, that's to the video earlier that I watched of mindfulness, where it's literally him out walking his dog, showing that the army are there. So. And there's another video I think later on that I haven't watched. That's why I haven't put the link in. But it seems like he's talking to somebody about why the army are there. So.
Okay. So Italy's also easing their lockdown as well. So Italy's starting to move about a bit. So I think they're gonna. I think Boris Johnson released a statement earlier today saying that he doesn't want to ease up lockdown and he thinks that would be a stupid decision. And I think based on what Dan just told me about Denmark, and I think because Italy will spike in cases again, give it a week and a half for incubation period, and I think Italy will spike again. So because that will happen, I honestly don't think we're going to ease up on lockdown until June. I really believe we're still going to be in lockdown at least till the middle of June. If you look at the way the numbers are and you look at the way the government's talking, the numbers aren't better than they were when we went into lockdown. So I can't imagine them lifting the lockdown when it's no better than it was before. You know?
Well, I've been getting notifications for the past 2 days on my phone saying how it's getting less and less, and then I got one today saying lowest figures so far, only 200 and something died.
233, yeah.
Yeah.
Lowest figures since March is what it was.
Oh, 33. You see, the 33's there. Look, we're getting the Illuminati numbers now. Look.
The other thing for fear-mongering, you know how I like me some fear-mongering, is the multi-system inflammatory state. Me and Dee were just talking about it, and he was like, do you mean Kawasaki disease? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Motorbikes for D. This is not Japan. And it's the same thing. We were both talking about exactly the same thing. So Kawasaki disease, or multi-system inflammatory state, is something related to COVID-19, and it seems to only be happening in your children, your dear darling children. If you let them outside to play in the mud, they're going to get sick. I just...
Refer to previous comments of mine on any of this COVID shit.
Do you remember when all of us were saying the kids are going to be fine because it's not affecting children? So parents were being quite relaxed, and you're still seeing a lot of kids playing out with each other. Now the government and the media have been like, no, stop this now. Like, your children can't go outside. They're not allowed to leave. So hello, more scaremongering. My son spent 10 days in hospital with Kawasaki disease, the illness being linked with COVID-19. More cases of rare syndrome in children reported globally. You just scroll down and down and down, and it's just, there's no facts and figures. There's just, your children are going to be in hospital. There's no numbers. Like, you guys know me. You know I like my numbers. Can't find any. No numbers. So yeah. I just...
like I said, I'm not even surprised anymore, if you know what I mean. That's the thing. There's no surprise left in me.
No.
It's just every time I hear something new, it's just flabbergastedness. flabbergasted.
When I read this post, I was like, oh, of course it is. You know, the little sarcastic remark that I give to people that are annoying me. Oh, of course you are. That was my response.
This is a problem. We should all be angry. We should all be angry. Like, we should all be kicking
angry.
back. But we're just so fucking used to it. Yeah, but it's not real anger. It's like, yeah, I'm angry, but let's go talk about it.
I'm angry,
on the
but I'm
internet.
not surprised.
Let's go march on the government.
I'm angry, but I'm not surprised. And the problem with going and marching in the government, going and marching to the government, which is the same problem a lot of people will have, is fear of the repercussions. If I go and stand up,
the only thing stopping me is logistics. Like, if somebody would get me there, I'd be quite happy. But unfortunately, I'm banned from driving. I can't sit on a coach for fucking 11, 12 hours. No, but if somebody can get me there, I'll happily join in.
For me, if I didn't have my son, yes, I'd be there with you, Dee. I'd learn how to drive and I'd come pick you up and it would be great. We'd have a great time. But I've got my son, so my worry is if I get arrested, what happens to him? That's the worry for a lot of
into social services.
Exactly, and I obviously
rings and
exactly, and I obviously don't want that. So, and I feel like that a lot of the people that we talk to have children. Like Jed. Actually, Jed's one of the only people that I can think of that's got young children. But that's my fear, is what would happen to my boy. Jed's put, the big crash is coming soon and the US are going to come out smelling like roses whilst the Chinese get cut off from us indefinitely. Your Apple phones will be made in the US in the future. Jed, give me a sec. You said this on Saturday, because
he's been saying it since quite early on.
Yeah, but I mean, he said this more specifically, what he's just said on Saturday. So I don't know if you want to drop the link and Jed can join.
Well, actually, I'll drop the link, but I just want to address what Dagan's put in the chat as well.
The banks will be the winners in this corona scam.
Oh. That's the link to join us. The banks will be the winners in this corona scam. See, again, Michael Censorship put an interesting video out the other day, and if it's true, then Trump's taken back control of the federal currency. So I don't see how the banks are going to be winning there in particular. Don't get me wrong, I don't know. I'm not sure the implications yet of that, if it's even true. And if other governments take suit, this could actually be a bit of a downfall for the banking system as we know it now, which kind of, again, still ties into what Jed's been saying about the whole economical attack and all this kind of stuff. So,
but Chris has just said something interesting. All the manufacturing was taken out of the USA for a reason. I don't think it will be back myself. I mean, is it plausible that this is here to make a different country top? Could we be moving things to Japan?
Myself. I mean, is it
to
make a different country top? Moving things to Japan?
Can you mute Mano, is it?
So Mano the man is Manimal from last week, huh? Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Can you? Who's the other person here? Is that Vlad?
Vlad. Yeah, I think he's just out showing us his.
I can't see. It's a tree, and you've got Chris's message there, so I can't fucking forget.
I'm up in a tree. I'm like 60 foot in a tree right now. Look.
Why?
Oh, hello guys.
Hello. You need to mute your watch page. I don't think we'll need banks after this. If the world goes cashless, it will be all digital. What will be the point in a bank? To move money around? But then the people who can no longer move money, like the people like my mum who can't move money around at the moment without a bank because she gets frustrated and yeets her phone across the room, she won't have that issue.
Dangerous.
She'll.
Double-edged sword, that one, don't you think?
I can't hear you, mate.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're very quiet and I'm deaf,
You're
so
very,
not
very
really.
low. I can barely
Can
hear
you
you,
hear
and
me
I
now?
usually
I've
get
tried to
good
turn up my
sound.
gain a bit. Can you hear me now? Sorry about that.
Ish.
Ish, you're still very low, but yeah,
dangerous
we'll give it a go.
society, double-edged sword, no? What do you think, Cakes?
A cashless society is a double-edged sword. I think that cashless society is an only-edged sword.
Dangerous, yeah.
It gives the government more power to track everything we do.
And control it.
It's easier to control where money goes. It's Dan says, how are we going to buy weed?
Turned on, Manimal.
Yeah, it is, but I've tried a couple of methods. I've tried plugging my microphone into the output on the speakers, the input on the speakers, and I've also tried plugging the microphone into the back of the sound card, and both seem to just struggle with the sound level for some reason. Although it displays fine on my computer and comes through my speakers fine, other people can't hear me as well. I'm afraid it might be a driver problem.
Try joining on your phone.
I don't have a smartphone at the moment. The police have it because of a malicious communication, interestingly. Because of an alleged malicious communication. Would you like me to elaborate?
I honestly don't really care.
No, that's fine. I'd rather not.
We were talking about cashless, so you know, all the wages the government is paying is only a loan. It's got to be paid back at 5%, says Dagan.
Yeah, because
I hadn't heard that.
They've got to take national insurance contributions off your wages once you start earning over a certain amount. So they're always taking something, and then they're taking the off that.
Oh yeah, even people on benefits, their benefits are taxed. Like it's
basically, yeah. You never escape the tax man until you're dead, and even then you don't really completely escape, do you?
Inheritance tax. Thank you very much.
Exactly. You escape it directly.
I think there is still a way around inheritance tax.
Yeah, you have to.
Be a billionaire and open charities.
You've got to trust one person, basically, and that's where the issue is.
Yeah.
Can I explain something about my situation that I mentioned, that I've got like a disability and I've had a near-death experience, and I had a payout. I actually had a rather large payout, which would have been 10 times larger had I won my court case. That's an amazing video from Vlad, isn't it? It's
that is, I'm actually like worried.
Can you put Vlad on big screen?
Yeah.
Put Vlad on big screen for a minute.
Oh no, I can't. I pressed the wrong button.
Oh God damn it!
Let's have a look at what Vlad is doing.
Vlad, if you fall to your death, I'm going to be very angry with you.
No, look.
No, he's jumping in the paddling pool there. Look.
I don't think that we should cut his
I got my safety stuff on right here.
Oh, good.
Oh,
yeah,
you pansy ass motherfucker.
I'm building a platform up here. I'm going to build it. It's like 60 feet in the air.
60 feet.
That's amazing.
That's a hell of a thing. What is that?
It's windy too.
Vlad.
Building a treehouse at your age. God.
But just give me a platform so I can do live streams. The fucking signal up here is badass. I'm above all the trees. You see all the trees everywhere.
Yeah.
Vlad, is it a eucalyptus?
I'm not sure what this is. I don't think it's eucalyptus because it don't smell like it. And look, here's the flowers. Let me flip the camera around. Here's the flowers to it.
Wow.
Oh my God! Well, I don't recognize those leaves. We don't have that in this country very much. It looks like ivy.
I was going to say I've not seen a tree that's got flowers like that on it.
Is it a maple? It might be a maple tree.
It might be a maple tree.
I don't know what it is. I'm new here in Alabama, so I don't know the trees here. I'm literally about 60 foot in the air.
That's amazing.
There's the house. There's the pool right there. There's a pool right there.
You can see next door.
There's a neighbor's house.
So what's your take then on about tracking people? Because you're up there looking into the people's gardens, you're watching people. What if someone was watching you? How would you feel?
I would just beat off and fucking throw a load in their face. If they're gonna watch me, in my private time, then they better be prepared for a fucking load in their face.
I like it. Fair play. You crazy American. I love it.
So yeah, I had nothing to hide. I've been very outspoken with how I feel about things, and I'm not ashamed of that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they want to pry into that, then you better get ready.
Awesome. All I can say to that is awesome. Just
If you see my car, you see my car over there? I can't zoom.
Oh.
Yeah, no. When you're on StreamYard, it doesn't let you on.
No, what is it?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's an Element. It's a Honda Element.
What's that?
It'd be interesting to see some live streams from up there. That's. I think that's a.
You should have
Well, what are you going to call them? Like the treehouse or the platform or what?
Yeah, just give me a platform. I mean, I actually started. I had 2 boards I pulled up with this rope here. I had this tied to me, but fucking one of them fell, so I just have this 1 2x4. I was going to put 2. It's going to go across here.
You've got a people carrier. I see. SUV.
So that's where I'm at. It took me forever to get the fucking steps up because I had to go around all the branches and stuff. But I use those as steps too. So that's where I'm at with that.
Platform.
He's made his own.
That's one like this. That's where I came up right there.
Oh, you've made little ladders.
Steps or not.
Are they straps to the tree so that they?
I nailed 2x4s about maybe a foot wide to the tree.
Are they not liable to pull out with weight on them?
What's that?
Are they not liable to pull out when you put your full weight on them, or have you secured them both sides?
They have it's concrete. Well, not concrete. They're finishing nails. Oh, double-headed finishing nails. Oh, so they're in there pretty good.
They're surfaced. They're basically got like a corrugated surface on the outside of the nail.
Yeah, they ain't come up. The wood have to break. And actually, one of the wood I put them in last summer. So one of the steps is already loose because the wood is breaking, not the nail. It's not the nails the problem. The wood is broke. So it's not
America again, mate.
What's that?
Flat 60 feet up a tree.
We're at
Alabama, did you say? No, where are you in the state?
Yeah, and Mobile area. Actually closer to Mississippi border. It's about maybe 6 miles from. I'm about 6 miles from the Mississippi border.
Looks like you've got a nice day there. Any chemtrails out and about?
Oh,
show us the platform again so Dan can see. Show us what you're building. Show us the scenery so Dan can see.
It's just that. I had 2 boards, but one fell. I had on this rope here. I had this rope here. I had it tied around me. I have this harness and stuff. Like I have my water.
Yeah. He's got his water and everything. Just sitting in a tree, 60 feet up. I love it, Vlad. That's amazing.
I got my hammer.
It's hammer.
Just in case he gets attacked by any squirrels.
And I got nails. I got my fucking pocket full of nails, but fucking.
And you got your phone holder. Your phone holder connected to you as well. Right yeah.
Yeah, I got my new phone case. I had to get a new phone case for my phone. Now that's why I was gonna have it right there, but when I went up, but you guys took so long to fucking put the link in, so like fuck it, I'm gonna get up in a tree and just go live from up here because the signal's like kick ass up here. I don't have to use the internet. It's a 4G. It's fucking like all the bars once you're up in the air. So that's like fuck it, I'm gonna build some up here just to do live streams from. Cause it looks cool as shit. But I still gotta go up. So I'm standing at 6'3", so I can go up another. If I have a platform here, I can go up that much higher. It's about another 8 foot, 10 foot up higher from here to there to the very top.
Yeah,
but this is the last support that can be stable. This is the stable support is this right here. Everything else is too flimsy.
Impressed.
I wouldn't be able to put anything up any higher. So that's why I got to start here and build something from here.
I'll tell you what you got to do, Vlad. Just like Terence McKenna's brother, I think it was Dennis. No, it was. No, it was the guy from Muslims, and he went up a tree during a storm. The tree was getting struck by lightning, and he had a god-like experience. He's famous for consulting on the plot of Star Trek Discovery. Forgive me for bringing the subject over to Mushroom Street, but it very much reminds me of the story that he told in his interview on the Joe Rogan Experience. Paul Stamets, because one of the characters in Star Trek Discovery is also called Paul Stamets, and he recounted the experience of his when he was in his youth, and he took a 20-gram bag of mushrooms and went up a tree. There was a massive thunderstorm. He nearly got struck by lightning, and it gave him it cured him of stammering. He had a stammering habit for many years as a youngster, and he went up this tree on mushrooms and got so freaking high, and it was in the middle of a storm, and he was in danger of losing his life.
So you're telling me the movies got it wrong yet again? Because in the movies, whenever people get hit by lightning, they always start stammering.
Yeah, it's like one of those. What's that Marvel character they made recently? That stupid Marvel film with the silly one. It's like that, but it really happened to him, and he basically stopped stammering from that day. He went up a tree high on mushrooms.
Yeah, I tend to believe every story that somebody who's taken 20 grams of mushrooms tells me.
Well, don't believe me then, because I haven't had 20 grams. That's a heroic dose. Anyway.
Yeah, it's getting hard to stand here. That's one of the other reasons I want to put the platform, because I've been up here a few times. It gets their feet. It's tiring standing on the branches, so I got to be on a platform to sit or something, because it's getting tiring already. I'm probably gonna get down in a second.
You'll have to forgive me a little bit because I'm triple tasking at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're always holding on. You've got little things to sit on that cut your circulation off.
Bear with me. I'm going to find the link to the video.
Yeah, I'm hooked up. I'm hooked up right there. So if I were to fall, I would catch right there. I got this. Let me see if I can show you. Damn it.
So I'd be tempted to jump now just to see if the harness works.
Don't jump to see if the harness
No, I don't want to break this, because once you use it, you can't use it again. No, you can't use it again. Once you snap, it's a safety thing. It's only a one-time use. I mean, it catches you, but you can't use it multiple times. You see how it's all crinkled up?
Uh-huh.
You see how it's crinkled up? It's because it has a stretch thing inside there, but once that thing stretches out and it snaps to where it maxes out, it's useless.
Yeah, it'd be like a hangman's rope then. No give. Yeah.
So but yeah, I'm hooked up, so everybody knows. It's a professional setup.
I'm glad.
Oh yeah, I don't want to fucking fall. I'm fucking 50 years old. I don't want to fucking fall and get killed being stupid. I might be crazy. I might be crazy climbing in a tree at 50, but I'm not gonna be stupid and fucking fall.
See,
if I fall, I might get banged up by hitting some of the branches.
Like, I'd have just climbed. That wouldn't have even crossed my mind to use a harness. I'd have just climbed.
I'd have used a harness.
Whether silliness, stupidness, unsafe or not. I'm comfortable in trees. It's something I've always been quite comfortable. So it wouldn't have even crossed my mind. I'm not saying it's not smart that he's done it. I'm just saying it wouldn't cross my mind.
Chuck it in there for me. Close the other tab.
I got the harness because I was going to my girlfriend's house, and the tree's there. I was using a chainsaw, and it's better to have a harness, so in case you fall, you let go of the chainsaw, let it fall, and you get caught in the tree.
I've never taken a chainsaw off a tree, so yeah.
I have done that. I've done that last summer. I did that.
You've done that a few times, and have you, Vlad?
What's that?
Have you done that a few times then, and nearly killed someone?
What, a chainsaw? No, I've been pretty.
You Louisiana boys.
No, I'm from Phoenix. I'm not from the South.
Oh, really? Phoenix? Wow.
Yeah, I'm a southwestern person, I guess. I don't know. I just consider myself. I never really claimed anywhere.
What's your take on the Phoenix Lights?
Oh, you know what? It's funny you mention that. All that is, there's 2 Air Force bases there in Phoenix, and all it was they were doing maneuvers above a part of town that they normally don't go in. And they made a big hoo-ha. I seen those when that happened. That was at 96 or 97. I think it happened.
A long time ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that happening. I was like, oh, it was those what's the ones that hover? Those planes that hover.
What were they? Attack choppers?
No, not the helicopters. Those planes that hover.
The ones with the dual rotors that then they spin 90 degrees and then they fly forwards. They become turboprops. and then they
Yeah, they were doing the maneuvers with those. I think there were 6 of them. There were 6 of them that do maneuvers, and if everybody thinks they were UFOs, I'm like, those fucking those airplanes that just stay stationary.
Those chopper plane things that are like vertical takeoff and landing, yeah.
Yeah. That's all it was. It was no fucking UFOs.
No, just people couldn't identify it, so you call it a UFO because they didn't realize that they were those special choppers that are planes, the plane chopper things.
Yeah.
Jed and Dagan said jump jet Harriers.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
Harriers.
but it's what it is. Harriers, the Harrier jets. Yeah, Harriers.
These have
That's what it was.
that can swivel and rotate vertically. They're on the front of the wing on both sides, and then they have a motor that can raise them up so they can come in and hover and land really slow. And then when they take off, their blades go forward and they can fly really fast. I'll find what they're called. I'll find it and I'll show you.
Yeah, it's the Harrier jets. Harrier jets.
They weren't Harriers because they make an absolute racket.
Whichever name they were, I just know them jets. It was the UFOs.
They're called Skycopters.
All right, I'm gonna try to go down.
No, I'll show you a picture.
Okay, I want to put my phone.
I will show you a picture.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put my
hands,
Yeah, I'm gonna put my phone on my little thing here. My tripod here.
Check out that little picture, Cakes. That's the copter that he's talking about. It's a VTOL. It's called a.
I can't. It's on my phone.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, I'll it's called a Boeing VTOL 787 Dreamliner. It's like a vertical takeoff and landing, but it's developed from the V-22 Osprey. V-22 Osprey. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah. So here's the one that's fucked up. See that?
Yeah.
You see that? It's fucked up.
Well, the tree's got rid of that.
I gotta fix that one.
Are you not?
Yeah, that looked rotten as hell, man.
That joint. You've got other branches though. You'll be alright, won't you? But do check out the YouTube link that I sent, which is the Pulse Planet Joe Rogan interview. It's awesome. And then that link to a picture. Don't worry about that.
I can't watch Joe Rogan. I no.
Oh come on! Even though he's a bit egotistical, he's still funny. He's still a good interviewer.
It's fucking annoying.
Terrible.
I enjoy it. I'm afraid I've learned so much from some of his streams that I enjoy Rogan's stuff. He's got a lot of followers. He's great, but if you look at some of the more scientific ones that he's done, not the ones where he's talking to other MMA fighters and all that business, but the guys who are like geologists and planetary and cosmologists and psychologists and really interesting people, he has had a hell of a lot of interesting people on his channel over the decade or 15 years that he's been doing it, and he's just highly popular.
I don't doubt it. It's just the guy I have a problem with. I've never really got into him. I was never really into him before when he was on Fear Factor and all that stuff.
Good stuff, Glad.
Well done.
I'm on the ground now.
Safe and dust. Down and
kiss
safe.
That floor.
Down and clear. Down and clear. You may now take off the upselling rope.
Garden's
here's
so
the tree.
green.
Show us the tree from a distance. Let's have a look.
That's just the backyard. But yeah, there's the tree I was in.
That's a beautiful.
There's a ladder.
Birch tree, but it's not a birch. That is not a silver birch.
There's a ladder right here. That goes up 20 foot. That's 20 foot right there to where the ladder's at. And I go all the way up to the very top. Now about 8 foot from the top.
Is it a downy birch? Is it possibly a downy birch tree? Is it a big downy birch tree?
It's a tree with green leaves. There you go. Solved.
Okay.
Good stuff, lad. I'm glad you managed to climb down safely and not die. Because I'd have been very upset if you died on my channel.
So I was in this one, but it's not as high as the other one. This pine tree.
Yeah.
And this one I can climb up. I can climb pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
We used to jump out the pine tree.
Well, listen here. It squeezes in pretty tight up there. The branches get really small real quick. It's hard to climb in there. At least for me, it was.
Yeah. We used to climb in pine trees and then jump out of the tree, because the branches are so compact together. You're not gonna fall and hurt yourself if you jump out of a pine tree. You just go down the.
Yeah, you can go down, and even when you hit the floor, it's usually full of pine needles, which is a nice soft landing anyway. Yeah, we did.
Well, the
similar
floor's
kind of
usually only that
when I
far
was
from the
there.
last branch, to be fair. We were like 12, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. How big do you think this circle is right here?
Big.
It's about 15 feet in diameter. But that's where I had bonfires right there. I did my last bonfire last week, and I have video. I didn't do a live stream. I did video of it, so it's a better quality. But yeah, some of this was fucking about 12 foot high, and then the flames were like fucking 35 feet high. They're like massive.
See,
I gotta be on mute for a second.
That would have been a small bonfire for us when we were kids on bonfire night, because, like I say, there used to be communal ones, and you'd like each street and try and build the biggest fire and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Jed says he's watched many a bonfire from that spot, Vlad.
Yep, he has. We've done a few live streams from this from right here. Yep, that's it. I got it flattened because it was a mound of ash, and I put it down towards the back. There is a hole back there, so I put it back there. Just the way I want to have this all flat, because I want to actually build a fire pit there for my mom. She's been wanting that. She said just a bunch of brush and stuff, and this big old massive fire, because she starts freaking out, and because at night the embers go way the fuck up there, way up in the sky, but before they hit the ground, they're ash. But she thinks it's gonna catch the. She thinks it's going to catch the green grass on fire. I'm like, this grass is not going to catch on fire.
No, well, the thing is, with the embers and stuff, that's what got us shut down when they got too big. The fire engine would turn up and they'd say, no, the embers are going into the houses over there and it could set the houses on fire and blah, 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 blah. All horse shit. Like, I mean, we build brick houses over in England. Very rarely do you see a wooden house anywhere. Like, so.
No. We've been composting our ash, because ash is a good composting material, because of the minerals.
Sterile.
It still leaves behind some minerals, especially with we've been burning fence panels, so they're just leaving behind wood ash. So there's still some minerals left in the ash.
Make some charcoal for Freddie.
Nah. Because we're planning to hopefully burn the rest of the shit that's in the garden tomorrow night, providing the weather's decent. But my mum won't allow me to build a fire pit, which is mean. I want a fire pit. But yeah, ash is a really good dry material in compost. If you need something to absorb, if you've put in too much like kitchen vegetation waste, then that can make compost too wet. So ash is a really good thing to soak up that wetness as well.
Yeah, very much.
There's a harness out there.
Nice. Looks like a horse saddle.
I had to take
too complicated for me. Yeah, I think I'll wear a harness up the tree. What did you? No, fuck that. I'm just climbing up the tree.
Yeah.
Let me see how far I can go in the back here. So it's some of the cool stuff back here.
Okay. Adventures with Vlad. I love it.
Oh my gosh, that was my thing.
That'd be insane.
That was what the thing was. Outdoor adventures with Vlad. That was one of my channels I had. This was all brush, and I went and took a fucking a chainsaw and fucking hedge clippers and shit and fucking a mower, and came in here and did all this and made all these paths.
Awesome.
And this is a school. This is a school over here. But
oh, there you go. It's confirmed that Dad can't possibly be a pedo. He's allowed to live next to a school.
But yeah, this was all brush here, and I went and fucking cleared it all out. Made all these paths. The path right here.
That'd be awesome. I mean, I'd have some, even this age, like at this age now, I'd have some fun out there, I reckon.
I just want to plant a load of bluebells, because they grow really well in wood. So you should plant loads of bluebells.
No, I'd have little grottos everywhere and stuff like that. And,
Cool.
yeah.
Did you just say what are bluebells, Vlad?
Yeah.
We don't have them in the States.
Oh, piss off. No, you
Is
have
that
to have.
mushrooms? Is that some kind of
Well,
mushroom?
No, they're a
A small
spring
blue flower,
weed,
a down
basically.
flower, and a
Yeah.
very dark green stem.
See, this was here when my mom moved in. This I guess it's a garbage pit, but she's wanting to fill all this in. I want to take everything out first. But yeah, this was. I mean, literally, I made this path here. This was all fucking this bushes and shit. So I went and cleared all this out so we can get around it.
Bluebells do grow in America. Fight me. I googled it. Google is your friend.
But yeah,
It's so cool. Such a nice back garden. You like honestly, you just look like you're in a park. Like
Yeah.
for us in England,
I mean,
that looks like a park.
You know what it reminds me of? It
I
reminds
mean,
me
but
of a computer game walkthrough. You know, where you've got to like find your way out of the level. And Vlad has come down out of the tree. He's been deposited in the tree by like I don't know an alien teleportation beam, and now he's got to get to the back of the school to find the bad guy and get him. And he's making his way through his own backyard. Where's your crossbow and all that then, Vlad? Where's all your weapons and your ammo
what?
and stuff? Where's your heads-up display?
that's all over there hidden.
Put your hands
That's ready to rock and roll.
Put your hands in front of the camera like that and point to different things and tell us what they are so we can interact with your environment.
It's about my self-defense tools.
Yeah, we need to see some of your equipment. We need to see the equipment that we want to see.
I'll get something.
See, we're not allowed
Here's all-
self-defense
Look at all
tools in the
I had all
UK.
this stuff up in the tree. Look, I had all this, and this was all hooked to me.
Oh yeah, my God,
I had like fucking 30 pounds of shit on me while I went up in the tree.
you're a serious man. And
Let me get my tripod. It's a little better holding onto this with a tripod.
this is all your land. This is all your own garden in America.
Is that a slate table and seats?
That's
Yeah, it's concrete.
Oh, is it concrete? So it looks slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Concrete.
mm,
Yeah, but underneath the pine tree.
I had another one.
Oh, that's better.
I'm sipping green smoothie in between sips of champion ale. Am I strange?
Not for drinking green smoothie, but yes, you are
Yeah.
strange.
This is something I built. This is something I used to build. This is the last one of the ones I built. Look, it's a cat. Those cat trees.
Oh, cute.
Wow.
I would
Literally,
love that.
I can't. Look, it's literally it's branches from a tree I made it from.
How cool. It's
That's
actually made it from
awesome.
That cat.
I
That's
love it,
Kate's
Vlad.
next project.
Yeah, no,
I've
legit.
I've
I am
built them.
going to the woods to cut down a tree
Population.
tomorrow. I have a
I
saw.
built them, but they're not so popular out here in Alabama. Phoenix, I was selling the shit out of them in Phoenix, but here they're not so popular out here.
You just remembered.
Here's my
Jet ski.
kid.
It's the jet ski.
Hi, Jen.
Here's some.
It's the jet ski.
Hello,
You got night
comrade.
vision.
Who's that? Jet
I
ski.
did,
Here we go. Look at this.
Comrade Jez.
Hey, put that full screen.
what is this? A fucking tour of your
What
yard?
the hell? That's a
Why, Vlad?
doom style weapon. That's a nail stick.
Look, I've had this bat. This is a baseball bat. It's a baseball bat,
shit.
a wooden bat,
Small baseball
with
bat.
this drywall screws screwed in backwards. I've had this since 1991. I've had it. That's how long I've had this thing.
Now, what is that needed for exactly if it's not for combing your hair?
Zombie
That is a
apocalypse.
That's my hairbrush. It's my
Dildo.
hairbrush.
His wife's dildo.
Yeah.
That's a hairbrush. Here's
It's
my
for
picture.
his. No. It's for his newest YouTube video. How to prolapse an anus in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Prolapse. Prolapse is a gentle thing to your anus. That's just ravaging. That
I
would
was
ravage
making it-
you.
One here right now.
Here's a fig tree. This is a fig tree right here.
Does
This is
that
not
actually
one
produce figs then, or?
Yeah. They're little babies.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
can see that. I can see the buds now. Yeah. I'll put it
Little
back
nubbies.
on.
Just little nubbies. But the problem is the
Wow.
fucking the
Oh.
birds,
They're not going to August, are they?
the cardinals love these things. Cardinals will come in here and they'll fucking it'll poke a hole in it and that's it, and you fucking ruin it. So we have to keep an eye on that.
Mhm.
Get a scarecrow.
No, you need a sonic
Yeah.
device to keep the birds away. You have to use a proper sonic device that'll keep them away.
No, because he's got cats.
But look, I've been collecting these styrofoam containers. Look at this. I got a bunch of them up here too. I want to build a fucking raft. I'm going to build an 8-foot by 8-foot raft, by about 2 foot deep.
Running
And,
circles in your pool.
and I want to go in. I want to go in the fucking ocean, the Gulf here, on a raft. Made a styrofoam container.
You actually want open? You're going to go open water in it? Like you...
But there's a lake. There's a lake a couple miles from here. I might go in there first to test run it.
There's
Oh,
some
actually,
crocodiles in your lake.
I'm going to test run. I'm going to actually test run it in the pool. I'm going to test run it in the pool first,
Definitely.
just to make sure it doesn't do anything. It doesn't fucking. It shouldn't sink. Styrofoam don't sink.
So, how is
Yeah,
Comrade
yes.
Jed today?
Yeah, what's up, Jed?
I'm very good. I'm very good.
Great. This is good. This is good to know.
Why are you in the darkness?
This is
What are you
Comrade
hiding,
Jed.
Jed?
I don't have
10:30 PM
power. I don't have power. It's lockdown.
Let's go. Shall we all do this? Right, I'm going to join in with this now.
I'm KGB. I used to be with KGB. Is there a way? Can I stop that?
No,
Fucking hell, man.
I know.
There's a banana plant.
You've started something now. He's gone to get something, and he's going to be joining you now, Jed.
He's gonna be getting another prop.
Yeah, I assume so.
Maybe a lottery ticket. Show us
Oh,
your
there you
lottery
go. The
ticket.
lights are off now.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, you got the old stogie out there, or is
No, I
that
am.
just a
I
normal
put on
biff
the power saving mode, my comrade. Power saving, apart from my 29-inch monitor, but apart from that, I am in power saving mode. I will turn my second monitor off. There, it is off. Now it is. Wait. Now it is on. Now.
Jed, you got any
How
vodka?
much sick were you sick then, Jed?
Yes. Always. Vodka runs through my tap. Vodka runs through my tap. Vodka is cheaper. Vodka is cheaper than water here. What? Vodka is cheaper than water here.
I always thought McEwen's came out of the tap in Edinburgh.
I don't know. Where's this place? Edinburgh.
It's, the public taps, mate. You know where they used to hang people and they put them in the stocks. That's where.
Oh
it comes
yes,
from.
yes, where we used to
Yeah.
sell our women.
That's right. That's the place.
Yes.
That's the place. Yeah, man.
I'm sweating like crazy.
Well, what's the
You're surprised
temperature?
climbing fucking trees at your age.
Climbing trees in the hot climate. I bet it's like.
Hey, at least I can still do it.
Are you in the 80s or in the 90s? Vlad.
What's that?
It's 2020 now. Come on,
Don't-
keep up.
That's what I was
I
about
went
to
away
say.
from-
Hey,
what did I do?
Mano, man, I can barely hear you, Mano.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What temperature is it where you are, Vladimir?
Hot,
It's about 80, it's about 82.
What temperature is it where you are, Vlad?
So low 20s.
It's about 83, or so. And the pool's 77. I've been needing to get in there because there's a bunch of leaves at the bottom. But I'm 77. Cold 77 is fucking cold. I've got in before when I was like 65, and I fucking thought I was gonna die.
It's only 16 degrees.
So for all those English listening, that's around about 28 degrees Celsius, which is like the height of summer for us here.
Really?
It's windy, but like I say, I've been walking around the yard and then going up in that tree and stuff, and then coming back down. It got me sweating.
Celsius with the
It's
sun
actually
behind
quite
us.
windy here at the moment. It's kicked off in the
One
past
thirty
hour or so.
Yeah,
American.
it's been super windy.
Yeah, I'm Dagan. I am so jealous of Vlad's garden, I've got to say.
It's awesome. How
Am
much
I?
for us to come and stay, Vlad? Have you got any
Yeah.
room for guests? Can we come and visit?
What? I didn't hear you.
How much to come and visit you and stay in your house? How much do you
If you can get over here, you can stay for free. If anybody can get over here, you can stay for free. Fuck it.
want? Fuck it, no.
I'll be
tell you what,
impressed if you can get your asses over here.
If America lets me in, I may well. Be
Yeah, yeah.
No chance. No, no one's gonna let you in, D. In America, no chance, mate. Not with a name like that.
Yeah, it's an acre. It's an acre of property here. You know, it's like a rectangular shape. I mean, a lot narrower in it, and it's really long. But it's a full
gardens
acre.
usually are.
Yeah, well, this only because I'm doing the fence.
What's that?
So
I just call it a property or backyard because I never looked at it as a garden. Because to me, a garden is where you have all your plant or your fruits and vegetables and stuff. And right now, that my mom don't have any of that yet.
I'll be doing a video of the back garden in the next few days because everything's growing. I found a tomato today. I was so happy. Like I legit called the entire family over to the greenhouse to look at a tomato literally this big. I was like, guys, look. There's a tomato.
Oh, my girlfriend's house, we have the cherry tomatoes. We have cherry tomatoes and poblanos and cayenne peppers.
Nice.
I found a sativa growing out the patio yesterday.
Are you giving that mic a blowjob? You're giving that mic a blowjob. Ew, that's disgusting.
It's my microphone. I can do what I like.
Oh, Cakes, I gotta show you. I got my.
you can hold it. It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter.
Oh, my apologies.
Bye, D. Go on, Vlad. What were you gonna say, mate? Vlad, you muted, mate.
Yeah, he's muted himself by accident. We can see his garden hose rather than his other hose, but we can see his garden.
Did you mute Vlad, D?
Oh. No, that was me.
Okay.
I muted when I was moving my stuff around. But I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go get the dreadlocks I was telling you about. I just dug them out of my stuff.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, you saved your dreadlocks, did you?
And I just measured them between 14 and 18 inches long. So give me a second.
Wow, that's cool. Did you not like the dreadlocks, Jed? It's cultural appropriation.
No, lovely. They were lovely. They're lovely. I put them on like a horse or something, and like put them on the tail, horse tail, and the mane, and a unicorn. They would look lovely on a unicorn.
Say hello to my little friend.
But not on a person, Jed. No.
My roughneck.
Dreadlocks.
Maybe in the year 2090 or something. When I'm dead. When
you're dead.
Aye. People can walk a bit
So,
like that.
if I had my dreadlocks, in Jed, would you not let me on your show? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, I'd let you on my show. You just look like shit.
You just ridicule me for 4 hours.
That's your choice.
Really cool. Have you got a picture that you can show us with your dreadlocks, Cakes? I think you'd look pretty good.
Yeah, look. It's real dreads. Yeah.
What's that noise?
What noise?
Yeah, what is that?
That's not me. I just muted.
It's Mano.
So I have no control over anything at the moment because my PC is firing back up because it lost.
Oh no!
It's Mano. Look, it's Mano. He's laughing. He's laughing at you, D. He's fucking with you.
I beg your
Mano
pardon,
is
Jed.
fucking with you, D.
Are you fucking with me, Jed? Are you fucking with me, man?
I fuck with everybody.
I
You
know.
especially.
I love it.
You especially.
We love it. We love it over here.
No, it is. I'm hearing a singing bowl.
Would you like to? Yes, you're absolutely spot on. You've clocked it, D. Would you like to see what it is that's making this noise?
Not
A
really.
singing
I'd just
bowl.
like it to stop.
Yeah, it's just a singing bowl, but it's one at exactly 333.33 hertz. It is 1/3 of 1,000 hertz. I'll just play it for like 10 seconds and then I'll get rid of it. Oh, hang on. You want the lower tone? Let's get the lower tone. Wait a minute. There's the lower tone.
Alrighty then.
Like,
Alrighty then. Here we go. That's it, you got it, Jed. Perfect sine wave. Hear that?
Oh, did you want? Sorry.
Those are, yeah,
Oh,
no,
What
go
the hell
on.
was
Yeah.
that?
They're my dreadlocks. Those are
Oh,
my dreadlocks.
actually, you
That
do
one.
look really freaking cool with dreadlocks. Jed, you're just wrong, mate. You're just so wrong.
And Instagram has frozen.
They totally suit you.
Those are the dreadlocks I'm currently
Subjective,
making.
pal. Subjective.
Exactly. No, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. No.
Let's hold a little vote then. D, do you like it with dreadlocks?
It's no difference to me than any
You're
other
on
hairstyle.
the fence. Okay, so I think
The only thing I don't like is short hair on women. To be fair, so
yeah, actually, I have to agree. I'm not too keen on short-haired women usually. Although there is
Dreadlocks
one I've
are
been talking to on Facebook.
completely
An exception.
subjective. Stop it! I don't want to sign in.
What's happening to your chat? What's happening to the chat? Everyone's fucked off.
Everyone's gone. Is it just us?
Oh,
It's dead.
everyone's
it's
fucked
just
off.
you, I think, Mano. Yeah, but
Just me?
no, I don't know. To be fair, it's been quite slow. We're not really out talking about much other than everyday stuff. Oh, we just
All
lost
I've done is send a few links in
Jed.
there.
Fucking the forges all day trying to get the shade round off the
Where's Vlad gone? What's he doing? Is he like frozen in time? Like in the
Me,
time?
I'm here. I was looking at my dreadlocks here. I was reminiscing when I had
Seeing
these.
how many bugs you can find.
All right.
From dreadlocks that are 20 years old.
Yeah.
24 years old. But the thing was, and see, this is only from the top of my head, because you know how military cut is around, it's only the top of your head, like all the sides and back are shaved. That's how I used to have it. So this is just from the top of my head. This isn't my whole head.
You kept it.
So it's like 40. I think it was 47. I think it's 47 pieces.
Is that recently set concrete I'm just looking at there? You buried someone under there.
Oh, this right here? No, this is that's glass. It's a glass
table.
It's a garden. What's it called? Fuck, I don't know. It's an outdoor fucking table. It's a glass table with a metal frame.
Glass, yeah. You're like a steel table, like a gunmetal steel table.
Yeah. A metal frame, and it's got a glass, tempered glass tops.
Is it an anodized
jet ski
metal
back.
table?
Sorry, there you go, jet ski.
Oh, he's back. Here's the man. Oh, what are you smoking tonight, Mr. Jed?
Tobacco.
Just tobacco, nothing else.
Yep.
No cat, no nothing, no MD in there, nothing.
No, we can't get that stuff here. It's too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, righty ho, whatever you say, mate.
Actually, that's where autoflowers came from, because I think ruderalis is a Russian thing. That's the gene that turns
ice river mode, switching to ice
cannabis plants into autoflowers. So.
You know your stuff.
At least that's my knowledge.
The drugs and chemicals, D. Whether you've tried them or not is another question. But you definitely know your stuff, don't you?
No. I don't know my stuff. I know a little about a lot. That's it. Like, it's not. I'm no expert on anything. Yeah, I'm jack of all trades, master of none.
My beer's all gone.
Masturbating.
Who? Oh, that. Yeah. All
D
guys
says,
are experts at that.
Jack of all trade, master of one.
Master of none. No.
Oh, I thought you said master of one.
No.
I'm quite good at waggling sticks. Apparently, I'm quite good at waggling a stick. Look, do you want to see a stick I made recently? I will show you my recent.
No,
stick.
I don't think. I think we want to get down to some conversation and about freedom of speech and censorship and.
We're waiting for you to lead the way. I'm just waggling my.
I'm
stick
censoring now.
Oh, you are. Oh, right.
I'm
yeah, it's
censoring
just
now.
popped up on the screen.
You see it.
See you later, man. Mate.
Thank God. Right. Anyway, so free speech, Jed. How do you feel about
what
it?
Happened? Hey,
I put my penis in the chat.
I feel it's important, obviously.
Oh, we've lost Chuckles.
He's chucked himself as well, daft cunt.
Hold D, I'm so proud of you. There's a limit though, right? Pardon?
Oh, what happened? Did Mano drop out?
In a manner of speaking.
He's saying that was a buoyant, uncalled for. So freedom of speech, aye.
That's crazy. It kicked me as when I kicked him, it kicked me at the same time.
Right. Well, Mano's begging to come back on because he wants to get serious. Mr. Wagon Sticks.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, this is the thing that the aubergine is it. Like, it's this. I got in trouble last time, not getting in trouble this time. You're welcome to stay and chat in the chat.
You hardly got in trouble. I was just sulking, as women do.
Yeah.
But freedom of speech is important. Everybody, it's becoming a cliche thing now, Ken. When you're in the truth movement, hearing about the whole.
No, it's. It is, and it's becoming a massive issue. Like, and it's like the other day when I was saying on your thing, like, I'm scared about the future. Like, I don't understand why everyone else isn't scared. Have we been desensitized that much that we're just going to accept all this shit?
I know. Like, look at comedy. Like, a lot of stand-up comedians have just retired because they can't even crack a joke anymore. And it's like it's so politically correct, and the people are so politically correct as well. They're so quick to judge, kind of like, oh, you said this, and it's like, oh, fuck off. You know what I mean? My uncle's disabled. That was a disabled joke. Kind of like, get some thicker skin, man. Like, I remember growing up beside real men, like, and fuck, they used to rip 10 bells at each other, but it was like bonding, and it was like, I don't know, man. Just society is so soft now, and I hate it. I like it to be a wee bit rough and.
I can tell you what changed Royal Mail because it was mentioned on all the time. As soon as the females were allowed into the workforce in Royal Mail, that's when everything changed. Apparently, they weren't allowed to say shit. They weren't allowed to fight. They weren't allowed to argue. I mean, it took many years for it to actually get filtered out completely. But by the time I joined Royal Mail, it was just a myth that people would be able to fight and like have a drink at lunchtime and argue and have different opinions and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, funny you say that. I got recommended a video. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm like sub to VB or something. But it was something to do with Rudy Roddy Piper. Remember him, the wrestler, Roddy Piper. Yeah.
Well, they live.
and Mr. T, right? Apparently they had an old rivalry, Mr. T and Rudy Roddy Piper. And one of the things that Rudy Roddy Piper said to Mr. T, and it was pretty funny at the time. Everybody he said, "You've got more chains than your ancestors," and like that kind of catchphrase just wouldn't pass anything nowadays. Like Rudy Roddy Piper's career would end there and then. In this day and age, but in that day and age, what was it? Mr. T came back with something. He says, "I am still a slave, but I'm just a rich one now," or some shit. It was just like a back and forth, and everybody just took it as a fucking rivalry, and no one's seen it as like racist, prejudiced, and.
Well, no, it wasn't. It's like this is what the point I was trying to make a month or so back when I was saying when we were kids and we used to like call the black kids niggers and the Indian kids packies and stuff. We weren't doing it because we were thinking it was a racist thing to do. It was just an insult. We didn't even understand what it meant, if you know what I mean. There was no racial in
Scotland. In Scotland, we didn't really have a word for them. Like we didn't have a word for like black. We didn't call them niggers. Like we didn't like that wasn't a word when I was growing up.
All right, to be fair, in England it was wogs. It was wogs. Yeah.
Aye, well, you'd hear nigger in the films and in the music, but within within your own areas and stuff, you wouldn't hear the word nigger. You know what I mean? It'd be like black or and like there weren't bad words to describe a black person apart from black and coloured, but that's now an insult. Or a Paki, like when you say Paki, it's like Chinese for Pakistani. I'm a Scot in Scotland, so I accept that I'm a Scot. So Pakistani, Paki, it's just an abbreviation. It's just so you don't have to say the big long word Pakistani. Again, it's Paki. You know what I mean? It's like, and there's nothing behind it. There's no maliciousness behind that. When you say that,
Because there was massive controversy with Grand Theft Auto 4 because one of the characters is called Packy.
Mm.
And yeah, so that all kicked off in the UK when that got released here. Like,
but I don't know where it changed, but I think it was sorry, Cakes. I'll just finish my point. I don't know where it changed, D, but I don't know if Cakes would remember, but I think it was like the beginning of the 90s or something. Kind of like something went snowflakey wrong, where it just started going on a downhill from like mid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. From when I was a kid, Packy was a word that you wouldn't say if you were white. Like, you couldn't say the word Packy because every time you'd say it, it would be taken as an insult instead of a describing word. You know, it's a verb.
Well, we described it for shops. Are you going to the Packies? Like, that's what the shops were called, the Packies. It wasn't actually referring to the people, it was referring to a building that sells stuff.
Most of the time it was Indians and not even Pakistanis anyway. So.
The Pakistanis that I grew up with would refer to themselves as Packies, but we couldn't say it back to them. Like, they'd get their pants in a twist. And sometimes I feel like they're trying to play a race card to get points. Do you know what I mean? To make you seem like a dickhead, they're trying to play the race card. Like, if you made a joke to me and said, "Oh, shut up and get back to the kitchen," which I think pretty much every single person on this panel has said to me at one point, a woman is going to take that one of two ways. The way that I take it, which is hilarious, and the way that another woman would, to try and get a point to use against you the next time you're a dick, you know, or the next time you say something that she doesn't like or the people of a certain colour don't like, they can then use that against you.
Yeah, it's like
I was kicked out of a woman's house for telling a sexist joke once.
No.
That was back when I was a teenager. Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
It wasn't like I was like they were on a date or anything. It was just like a group of people around at her house, and
And the thing is, everybody knows, like you know when to say certain things. Like you'll be comfortable saying Packies to your friends. I'm just going to the Packies, but you wouldn't say it to the Packies themselves because you're not that stupid. You know they might take offence to that. You know what I mean? So like even though you use the word, it's no. You do, but it never gets to the point where it's like racist. It's just a description, a group of people. I mean, it's as little as that, and like if people want to take it as like pack, or even like they see the word nigger. Honestly, I remember the first time I probably said nigger was singing a Tupac song. You know what I mean? Like I'd never heard that, and like no one in my local vicinity ever said nigger when I was growing up. It was blacks or darkies. Darkies, that was a word. Darkies.
Darkies, that was,
Aye, that was another word. Darkies.
For me, it was, people would say nigger a lot for me, but again, even just
the nigger word did come out more in the 90s because we had started getting the rap culture,
rap music,
the niggas with attitude,
I remember black people being called coons when I was growing up. Yeah, but I never called them that. But I was
I've only heard that in the American movies. So yeah, that's not.
I was like, what the? I never understood that. But
spook.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah,
because we used to play the Dead or Alive, which is a fighting game. We used to play it with my dad, and I remember vividly my dad always picking the black guy and calling him the Jigger Spook. And to me, he wasn't meaning that in a racist way. He was just describing the player that he used to play the most. So I remember calling a black person a spook, like haphazardly, like as a 10-year-old, not realizing, because I didn't mean it maliciously.
Using the liberal agenda terms, and this is what it is. This is how they attack you, by saying it's a micro. You don't even realize you're being racist when you do that.
Yeah, and I think this brings us back to intent. This brings us back to intent. Like, you can't prove somebody's intent, but at the same time, as a human being, I think you should be able to judge the context in which somebody's saying a word. Like, if I'm saying nigger, and I don't, to be perfectly honest, I have said this word twice on this stream now, or 3 times, which is more than I've said it in the past 5 years. I can guarantee that. Because I don't use that word anyway, because it's just not a word in my vocabulary. I wasn't growing up saying it. I grew up hearing it, but not saying it. But if I use that word, it's never going to be to attack somebody. I think I can attack somebody far more articulately than picking on somebody's race.
Exactly.
You know, like, there's so many other better ways to be a bitch. Yeah. Chris says you know intent when somebody speaks, and that's bang on. It was the way somebody, the emotion behind somebody's words is how you gauge somebody's intent.
Yeah, and the context with which it's in. It's like none of us, I don't think, have used any of those words in an offensive way tonight. We've just used it to make a point about those words and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but again, we'll see the kickback. I mean, I'm sure there will be some. But...
And earlier on, before the show, me and Dee were talking about how the trials and initiations that you and VB have kind of given me personally, like all the little tests
look at that
to
little
see,
smirk, look. We will,
all the little tests to see how I would react, and like a normal person in this 21st century would have told you and VB to fuck off multiple times, told you to go away, because people don't know how to take a fucking joke. People don't understand, like, and this is what you were just saying, Jed, that everybody is so snowflakey nowadays, and I don't understand where this has come from and why everybody takes offense at words so easily. You know?
I'm actually starting to think it's a bit of a myth now. Again, I'm starting to think this is like 5% of the population, and it's just the media that are making it look like it's everyone's like this, so we're all self-censoring and just following the agenda. So,
Hey, Dee, that's not necessarily true, because in Phoenix, it's not so bad out here in Alabama, but in Phoenix, I ran into a lot of people that were very snowflakey. I mean, they were so offended just by, I mean, you couldn't even have a conversation because I talk a certain way, and I'm not out to offend anybody, but I have certain things I like to talk about. And if you're going to meet somebody, you want to see where they're at, you're going to gauge where they're at, and just mentioning certain things, a lot of people would get offended. You know, that's just like random people. So they're out there. They're out there a lot, especially in big cities. Big cities more than anything else.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I was going to say, Vlad.
Like, say, in the liberal scene, this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's a liberal thing. So, it'll be the gays especially.
I mean, look at Free Spirit.
Offended by everything.
But liberalism isn't bad. They've made it look bad. Being free and shit isn't a bad thing.
It's not.
But they've turned it that way. So liberal people like myself, I was a sort of more liberal-leaning person in my 20s, I'd say. And I'd say I'm more on the other side, because the left are too far left, too extreme. Like, I can't agree with anything now. So I feel like I'm more sitting in the central and maybe more right, because of the traditional sense of things. I think we're losing all these sort of traditional values and stuff. And I feel like I'm one of these guys that cling on to a lot of people have got good arguments, like not to cling on to the past and shit like that. But fuck it, I'm a traditionalist. I like to know where I come from. I like to know what I am. I like to keep it that way. Like, we all deserve a home and a place to be, and that's what we getting told off the media. Everyone deserves a home, like, for all these like non-white people and that. Well, we deserve a home too, like the Scots people. We didn't deserve to be invaded again by fucking other races and shit, man. We deserve a home as well. We're like one of the smallest like fucking populations, like 5 million people in the country. Fuck, if you put like 1 million people in here in a year, we'd be fucking, years, 10 years, we'll be away. We'll be away. Because we didn't shag enough or something, or we're not breeding enough. We're dying away, man, and they're just flooding us with immigrants.
That's one of the things the lockdown's been maybe claimed to do. Get us breeding, because they're like secretly, obviously, we're losing too many people, and they want to inject some youth again into the society. So expect, like you say, in like 9 months, there's going to be another baby boomer generation, I reckon.
But why not do what Russia done? Russia actually started paying families to have, like paying couples to have families, like actually giving them money.
Well, it would be a good idea in a lot of cases, I think, because we have fallen below the sustainable birth rate in the UK and most Western countries. So yeah.
Scotland, like half our population are like old, like over 50, like half the population. It's crazy, man. And then the other half, which are like kids and like younger people, and we're just not having enough kids. And it's crazy. Our population is fucking, it's crazy.
I only had two myself. So like I can't say like I had my fair share. No, I only had 2. I think you should. I think you need 3 roughly per couple to sustain a society.
There's just too many problems with that though nowadays, with family roles being taken down because people are having less children. No, the way I feel is that people are having less children because they physically can't afford those children, can't afford to have more children. I mean, you guys know I don't want another kid. If it happened, I wouldn't change it, but I don't want another kid. Shh, you're being loud. Yeah, so if it happened, it would happen, you know. But we couldn't afford another kid right now. We definitely couldn't because we'd have to move out.
That's almost like part of the psyop that to make you think. Because see, if you just had a kid, I'm sure you would get through it. I'm sure you would fucking get through it, and the kid would grow up fine.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? It's like
definitely we would because we wouldn't have a choice. But we'd have to move out of where we are right now ahead of schedule without the money because we want to save enough money for our deposit essentially. So we'd have to move out of here straight away to rent, and then we'd be stuck renting. Both of us have obviously got to work, so then I'd have to find childcare for the baby.
Your mum,
and
your mum.
No, because she works as well. She has to work.
All right.
My mum can't, and neither can my dad. My dad works, and my stepmom. Like they all have to work, but we've lost that kind of gender role of where the man can afford to go out and have a one-income household, and I think that's part of the problem with households only having one or two children. I think if men were able to work, women would still. If men were able to work and earn a better wage, people would have 3 kids like they were in like you look at the 80s, most people came from 3, but before
we lost your sound there, Cakes.
I thought that was me.
I think her battery her battery's run out on her headset. She's just going to plug it in. Damn wireless headsets.
Oh, this headset makes me so angry. Honestly, I hate it. I honestly hate it. It's a wired headset, so why on earth it needs charging? But yeah, before the 80s, people had 2 siblings. So at least like that, you'd come from households of 3. Have I gone again?
No, you're still there, and to a certain extent, that still carried on through the 80s. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did notice there was a lot of just 2-kid families on my street when I was growing up and that, but there was still a lot of 3-kid families.
You always had the one family that
had
the
third kid was always the third kid was always a lot younger than the other 2 siblings. Like in my case, I say it was just a 2 family, but like say by the time I'd hit teenage, my mum then had another child, so it changed us then to that 3 family. But for most of it was, and and it was the same I think for a lot of the families at the time. The third one was almost like the mistake in a way.
I can always remember the big. Sorry.
Go on. Sorry. No, go on.
I was just going to say I can always remember the big families in our schemes, like the bigger families, the ones that have got 5 or 6 brothers and sisters. They were always the scruffier ones.
Yeah.
Because there was less to go around.
Yeah.
They all the hand-me-downs getting right through.
Yeah.
Like we were still pretty scruffy as well because we come from a single parent sort of household. But even these big families that had mums and dad are really scruffy, and they were usually the rough. And you didn't want to fight that family because I had the 3 brothers that would jump in as well.
No, I was bullied by that family.
There was always one of these families. And housing schemes anyway.
Well, what I was going to say was probably a quarter of my class were lone child, whatever they're called, only children.
Lone child.
Lone child, lone wolf.
Home Alone. God.
Half of the class was just 2 of them, and then the other quarter would be like 3, and very rarely more than 3. But I noticed at Freddie's school, where Freddie, over half of his class are lone children, only child.
Single parent come from single parent families.
No. As in there's just one child families.
Oh right,
at least half of my son's class, if not more. There's just one child in there.
Yeah.
So you could definitely the comparison between my childhood, which was, you know, I had Freddie at 20, so the difference in like less than 20 years realistically is outstanding. So yeah.
So I think my eldest wants lots of kids. I think. Don't quote me on that. Like I say, she's in the process of having her first now, so we'll see how it goes. But
well, I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 15, I remember vividly wanting 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. But now I just having a second child is just gonna be just too much. Like, it's just too much. You know.
I think if you both feel like you want, I think you should just go for it. If you both want it, I mean, because I think it'll work out. And if you are good people and you still make it work out, you know what I mean,
it does.
There will be trials. There'll be trials and tribulations. You might have to get a new flat, but that might be the thing that gets the wheel rolling and gets a new change in your life. And I don't know. Can like sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. These things can like you might think it's a bad thing at the time, but. You
I mean, very rarely a right time. There's very rarely a right time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, right now, I 100% don't want another child. Who knows how I'd feel in even a year's time, but who knows how I'll feel in 5 years, 10 years, etc. You know, but right now, I just having another child it's a lot of. I don't want that much hassle, you know. You know,
but you need to think about your own kid as well. Can it be cool for him to have a wee brother or sister?
You lucky bastard, Mick.
10 sisters. You want to stay at his house, eh? You want to stay at his house every weekend.
That's why he was his mate, because he had 10 fucking sisters.
I'm staying with John tonight again, Mum.
But yeah. By the time I'd even feel ready, like Freddie would just be much older. So I mean, he's 7 right now. You know,
but still, it's someone to look, because you're not going to be around forever. And like, what about if there's a point that he's on his own totally, and he needs
then
somebody
I've
else
failed
to
as a parent because he hasn't been able to find a mate and make his own family. You know.
No, but no.
But I know what you're trying to say. I know
like it's always good to have like somebody
a backup,
because like a backup. If anything happens to me, my missus, at least I can like I've got my son to maybe look after like my daughter. Again, like he'll always be there for her, no matter what sort of thing. So it's not always about you as well. You need to think about again like who's going to be there for your son in that one.
If I don't feel, I mean, obviously Freddie was an accident. But if I had another child for reasons that aren't, but at least partially selfish, I don't know if I just don't think that's a good reason to have a kid. I feel like I'd have to at least want a child for me to.
Definitely.
You know,
but you will maybe have that feeling someday, and you will maybe have to consider those things, and that's maybe a good thing to consider. Like, there is maybe pluses to having another kid, Kate.
Yeah. I mean, we're not getting sterilised or anything, so you know.
Yeah. Well, my missus was on the verge of getting sterilised, and she changed her mind at the last minute. Like, we still might be swithering, but I don't really want to have another kid. I think 37.
I'd advise against sterilisation at any age, really, purely because I went for it at 25, and although I've never changed my mind and wanted another kid, it'd be nice to know that I could if I did change my mind.
Well, me and Dan were actually talking about it for him. Well, he'd mentioned it a few times. I would never ever be like, "Do you want to get this done?" So that you know, because I'm not that kind. I'm not that much of a bitch. But after we mentioned your vasectomy and Tom's, and I think Mick's, maybe I don't want to put words into Mick's mouth, but there was definitely 3 men talking about their own personal vasectomies. That was kind of when I completely shut any conversation down, because it's not fair. you know, I'd contemplated it for myself as well, because I don't like taking the
I
pill.
wouldn't even get my dog neutered. Like I remember my missus wanting to get his balls chopped. I'm like, well, if you want a dog with the balls, you should have got a female dog. Do you know what I mean? Like, I said, no, there's no way. He's keeping his balls, because I seen she had her brother got a dog, and it was an Alsatian. As soon as it got his balls cut, it was a different dog. It's like something happened to that dog. It's will to live,
Mick.
kind of went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So my female. Sorry, go on.
No, go.
My female cats, I've got 3 girls, and they've all been done because they're outside cats, and we just constantly have kittens in the house, you know. So we had to kind of choose between having them done or keeping them as house cats. And for our area and for our situation, I just think house cats is a bit mean. It's a bit cruel. They're outdoor animals, so we had them done.
I couldn't imagine a cat being cooped up all day in a house. Like my mum's almost always had cats throughout my entire life, and we've had some dogs as well. But they come in and go as they choose. Like, and then I couldn't imagine, trapping a cat in a house and expecting it to be happy.
So back to freedom of speech, guys. Do you think that it's a wee bit contradictory? We kicked that guy, like, because like he was maybe saying something we didn't like.
So we had this conversation with you on Saturday on your channel.
I can't remember, but we'll go through it again.
And yes, it is contradictory for us to promote free speech and for us to say free speech is great. However, as content creators, because you are, whether we like it or not, this is what we do. If we know that our audience isn't actively enjoying what we put out, that is poor business. Like, I'm not going to alienate the regular people that we have, especially when one of the hosts is bored. And
but that just means you're pandering to the group, and that group might not be right, but you're pandering to them just to appease the audience. Like, what about what feels right rather than what the chat feels like?
I mean, whilst I agree with you, at the end of our stream last week, Dee did say something to him. Dee, would you like to repeat it?
Yeah. I said to him at the end of last stream, I said it's a conversation, not a lecture. Yeah.
And it was difficult because throughout last week's stream and today, I could constantly hear Mano speaking in the background over us. And
that's it. Half my problem is I can't hear him. So it's hard to have him as
needs to get a better
conversation.
Needs to get a better mic.
That's a good point.
But having somebody talk, perhaps I was not staying on topic and speaking over. Yes, have fixed my mic. Well, that's good that you fixed your mic. And constantly speaking over other people, and not actually having a conversation and just talking at people kind of gets a little bit frustrating. You're always more than welcome to come on. I'd kind of had enough.
Now, so I mean, I can add him back if you want. Give him another chance. Like, I mean, it's
just don't speak over other people. Vlad's taken all the big dreads about it.
If the aubergine shows up in the chat again,
and it's sometimes knowing your place. You know what I mean? You've just came in the door. You know what I mean? Like, sort of know your place. Take a back step. Get to know a few people first before sort of asserting yourself into a group or community, as Cakes would call it. And I think a lot of people get a wee bit taken aback by that kind of attitude when people just come in and think you can just overtalk a group that talk to each other every week normally, and then there's just this alien entity coming in going blah 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 blah. Like, hell, man, who's that?
And that was another thing from last week. Like, you kept repeating, and this has happened on Jed's show as well. Like, somebody will come on who's not used to being here, and they'll just keep saying things that we have said like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and it's like, we've done this, and that's not your fault. That is not your fault. That is just a peeve of my own. Is when people come in and tell us things that we already know, and sometimes it can feel a little bit condescending, which I doubt that was how you were wanting to come across.
But is it no better
condescending.
maybe saying that to them at the time? Okay, when they're actually
Well, I
saying all
couldn't
this
get a
shit, is there
fucking
no way
word
just
in there, Jed.
stopping them and saying, "Shut the fuck up"?
I couldn't.
Can I ask you
I
something?
tried to.
Hear me properly now? Is my mic working?
That's what I usually do.
Fiddle
Just
with
go,
it.
It's
"Shut the
still
fuck
very,
up."
very, very quiet.
Yeah, you're still very low. Honestly, if you get a new mic for next time, it will be probably a better experience for all of us.
Okay. Well, hopefully it will be.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I will behave.
Okay. So anyway, sterilization, and what I was saying, was that I hate taking the pill. The pill's fucking horrible. I mean, you know how I am on the pill. You know how just I have no vavavoom.
Every woman I've ever known who's gone on the pill becomes a different woman.
A shell. And it's not even like hormonal angry or hormonal upset or anything like you experience. Well, I experience in PMS. It was literally like I just felt this constant state of annoyed, but not like annoyed. It's really difficult to describe. So I stopped taking the pill in like, did you even remember? Like November, December time, something like that.
It was before Christmas, yeah.
Was before Christmas. This is how close me and D are. Text him at 3 o'clock in the morning. D, I'm not taking my pill anymore because I want to smother Dan with a pillow right now.
When did I take my tampon out, D?
If you leave it in for longer than 8 hours, you're gonna get shock.
I was going to say, just before you got toxic shock, mate, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
But anyway,
it was a dodgy subject, but that's yikes.
So, and obviously condoms are the devil. Like they're horrible. Like who the fuck likes condoms?
I honestly, I will never have sex again if it's a choice between having to wear a condom and having sex. Like that
sounds like a George Michael song. I never have sex again.
Yeah.
The choice between condoms or not.
How can you not condoms when there are so many choices? Come on.
They're horrible. But the other options that you're kind of left with is having an injection. You have to wait 3 months for the effects to wear off, and I don't really want anything injected into me. Mm-hmm. Having the implant, which is horrendous. Why would anybody have a long 3-inch plastic bar implanted into their arm? Like that just sounds ridiculous. And then the IUD. No, not the IUD. That's a bomb.
Well, that is an intrauterine device. No, there isn't an IUD. You got the right term.
The coil, you mean?
Oh, did I? Is it called the IUD?
Right, yeah.
It's also a bomb, though, right?
It's an electronic device, an exploded thing.
No, it's IED.
IED. Oh, yeah, okay. So I was right. But they have been known to get lost. They have been known to embed themselves into the cervix.
They poke male at inappropriate times, even though nurses say, no, that's impossible, it can't happen. They lie.
Yeah, the metal string stabs the Jap's eye. So kind of all of the options. Jed's like, no. Hi, Lee. Long time no speak. Hello. So all of the kind of modern day contraceptive things just seem ridiculous. And when we were last talking about this, which was around Christmas, because I was having a little rant about the pill, I remember Madame saying that she uses the calendar method. So that is now what we're doing. If any of you were interested in what contraception
that's a good idea.
But that seems slightly barbaric in a way, because then you're denying your feelings. And that's what sex is all about, surely. If you feel horny, you have sex.
But there's a lot more things that you can do that aren't sex.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just pointing out the
well, that's just the animal side, isn't it, D? We just aren't we as humans supposed to be engaging our mammalian cortex and not our monkey brain?
Nope. I like my monkey brain.
I don't think that there's any supposed in anything. Like, if we are
No,
part
you know
of
what I mean.
nature,
No, I mean that
some
with the
suggest
choice
we're
of
not,
Sorry.
then we're going to act as we act. There is no supposed to or anything. There is a set of boundaries, and that's about it.
Well, I have a choice
So-
to interject when I want to interject, or shut up and back off.
No.
So it's the same thing with sex, is it not? Do I want to inject or not?
Okay. So I have a calendar that tells me when I can and can't have sex. Basically, I have an app on my phone that tells
Oh my God,
me
your
that.
sex life is regulated by your smartphone.
Yeah.
Right up.
No, but it just keeps track of what days you're more likely to ovulate than not, which is really helpful for intercourse.
Statistical analysis of the
the opposite
ovulation.
though. If you want to have children, that you look
Exactly.
at the calendar, don't you?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
the opposite things, yeah.
You'd know which days you've got to have Naked Wednesdays on.
Yeah.
Fully closed Fridays.
Yeah. So that's what we have been using.
I think
An application.
Going back to earlier, what you were saying, because I know Dee's had the snip, and you were saying Tom's had the snip, and it was me as well. I've had.
Oh, it was you. Oh,
Yeah.
it was you. I can remember. Here's me just accusing Mick of having like.
Yeah.
Well, I did put Mick's comment up in the chat saying not me.
Yeah, I
so,
did.
yeah,
I did.
yeah,
I
that
said,
was
"Oh, sorry,
rectified.
Mick." Yeah. I wasn't too sure, but
that was down to a decision. Me and my wife talked about it. And because when we had our 2 children, she had to have an emergency cesarean for my daughter, and then for my son, which wasn't planned, she had to have another cesarean, and she was like really, really ill from it. So she had a really bad time for it. So I thought, right, no, can't put her through that again.
Yeah.
So,
my missus went through the same thing. We double cesarean with both my kids. Like the for some reason near the end they just won't come out. Can they need to just cut them out? And I don't know if it's a genetic thing or what the fuck's going on here? Because this stuff would have killed the mother back in the old days. Get me?
Yeah,
what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I was going to say this is one of the wonders of modern science, because those women, like you say, would have died back then, and now we can cut them open, get the kid out, mother, baby survive. But it's not always great, because I think after you've had one cesarean, you've got to have cesareans, or is that just a myth I picked up?
Down to the shape of your bone structure, your pelvis and your cervical size, how easy it is to have children. Like they say, like big boned women, easy to have kids. Genetically speaking, that's true, although morally speaking, it's questionable. But it is actually physically, medically true that if you're of a certain body type, it's easier for you to have kids. So if you're like an ectomorph type woman, a thin, tall woman of that kind of genetic code, then it's harder to physically pass children through your cervix. Sorry, not your cervix, but both, as well as your your pelvis, than it is as if you're a bigger boned woman of a more endomorphic body type.
Yeah, I've known a lot of those tall, skinny women that have given birth that end up having their coccyx broken.
Yeah,
like during giving birth.
Procedures as well need to be done, to bring the child out. And back in the day, like Jed said, exactly right, you would have died. You'd have just died.
Yeah.
23 and a half hours labour was with my daughter, with my wife. And she was...
That's horrible,
That's a long time. I mean, I went through 14 and a half hours on my first one with my ex, and that was bad enough. 23 hours, mate. I'd have been dead on the floor, I think.
Yeah, it was suffering. I was like,
20 hours. When I came, I was quite big-headed.
What a surprise that is, eh?
No, but like in the order of 10 pound plus baby, if you're a 10 pound plus baby, it's meant to be really hard to give birth to you. And I was something like 11, so just the way it is.
I was in labour for 16 and a half hours, just to cut you out there, dude. But my mum was in labour with me for 36 hours, and I had the cord wrapped around my neck 3 times. And my mum knew something was wrong.
Oh, so you're lucky to be here then, really?
Yeah. So they had to cut my mum open like completely. Like I was already in the birthing canal, so they had to cut her there open
Yeah.
so that they could get like clippers in to cut the cord. But then obviously they run the risk of also cutting like me. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm pretty fucking lucky to be here. Like I've and then I almost died when I was like 4 as well. We were staying in a villa. We're just in a villa in Portugal, and there was a spirally staircase with a marble floor, and there was a gap at the top of the stairs that was like this wide. So I obviously, being a 4-year-old, have squidged through the gap. Didn't realise that obviously I was going to plummet to my death. And apparently, according to my dad, my head was about that far off the floor when my brother's godfather caught me. Otherwise, my head would have splattered off this marble floor.
Shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I only had a tree follow me in London in a park where my dad's mother lived in Lewisham, Lee Green, somewhere near Lewisham. I don't even know where it is really, but this tree got blown down next to me, and I was only about 12 or 13 or something. We just come back to the UK from the States, in fact, and we were living at my dad's mum's house for a little while. She only had a flat in London somewhere, and this tree came down, and my mum saw it happening. She was in the kitchen washing up and looked out the window and saw a tree falling towards me, and she smashed the window open and screamed, "Matthew!" And suddenly I stopped dead, and the tree went next to me, right like that, just next to me. And if it landed on me, it would have undoubtedly killed me.
yeah, it's a tree.
Because I didn't even get scared. I was just like, "Oh, thanks, Mum," and then just carried on. And what the hell? She came running down, obviously, and hugged me, and I'm like, "Oh, Mum, thanks. I didn't realise that I was going to die." But yeah, that was one of my many lives gone already at that age.
Well, this bloke who saved my life, he won't even look at me. Like, he can't look at my face at all. Like, he'll have a conversation with my brother, he'll have a conversation with my mum, conversation with my dad, will not even look at me. Like, to this day, I saw him about 2 years ago, won't look at me.
Can't you break through that?
Acknowledge me.
Can you break through that somehow? What if you were to like fake like breaking down, crying, and thanking him? Do you think maybe he would like take it, or would that scare him off even more?
I mean, I thanked him. Obviously, I'm not an animal. I am dignified. I've thanked him, but I think even then, like, he can't look at me because if it weren't for him, I'd be dead, and he knows that. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, how you doing, Lee? What you been up to, mate?
Not a lot. Lockdown. It's boring. Kids are off school, so they've just been sat in the bedrooms. So,
Surprised got any hair left there, Lee.
Because I've been going everywhere lately, just saying that.
I'm surprised got any hair left. You haven't pulled it all out again.
No, the thing is, OD, I only see the kids when they're hungry or thirsty. So, apart from that, I don't see them.
Yeah.
They're upstairs all day. I don't see them.
Work full time, Lee?
No, I don't work.
No, I don't work either. But I'll tell you what, I've been busy during this lockdown, and I've been for a while. I keep finding excuses to go places and coming up with legitimate excuses for essential travel. And what I do is I ring the British Transport Police at the train station and say, "Is it all right if I go do this?" And they're like, "Yeah, on you go." So I just come down on my bike, get on the train, and.
That's you're a good little slave then. You ask permission.
Yeah, because I don't want to get arrested and get fined 30 quid because I haven't got 30 quid.
Oh no, exactly.
You just don't pay it.
You could fine me, but I'm not going to get it.
All day long.
If you don't give them your name, they can't fine you.
No. That itself is a finable offence. Not giving your name, not telling a police officer who you are itself is a.
Only if you've committed a criminal offence.
Yes, but if they believe you've committed a criminal offence, mate, you've got no chance against.
But they've got to prove first that you're under suspicion of committing a criminal offence.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
So there has to have been a report by a member of the public.
Okay.
Reported on file with their superiors.
So they can't just do it off their own back and fine you then?
No.
So even if they stop you and they say, "What you're doing, is it legitimate? Is it essential travel?" and you tell them something that is essential.
If you tell them it's essential travel, they've got to prove you're not
essentially traveling. Yeah.
You're not.
Well,
You're
I'm
not.
actually going
like,
to go do some
performing
labouring in
essential
Estomere
travel.
tomorrow. I'm travelling out lunchtime tomorrow to go to my friends to see him, do some labouring, help him chop some trees down on his farm. I'll get paid for it, and then it just so happens that he lives not too far from one of those bothies in the woods. So I'll either stay in his caravan or camp in his garden, or go to the bothy for a couple of nights afterwards. And the police, I've already asked them, and they're like, yeah, no problem. What you're doing is legitimate. You might be adding a bit onto it, but that's fine because you're at that point, you're staying there. So you're going for a walk locally from there, and you're just coming back via somewhere. So I said, yeah, well, that's what I thought. I was just making sure.
What an effective lockdown this is going to be if it's real, if COVID's real.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But you see my point is that I don't want to have to worry about all that business. So I'm just not. Even if they said no, you can't do that, I would find another way to do it. Basically, to get enough my jolly and go and see my friend. You see what I mean?
I thought you were disabled. I thought you were disabled.
Well, yeah, but this having a disability still leaves me with a hell of a lot of ability. Yeah, on paper I am disabled, but it doesn't mean I can't travel and go hiking and all those things. You know,
Stops me from doing a whole load of shit. I certainly don't go out to make
sometimes
houses.
it does. Yeah, look, I won't lie. Sometimes it does stop me, but 90% of the time it doesn't. 90% of the time it makes me even more determined to do more than it would be if I didn't have any kind of a disability. So that's my take on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just find that I'm stuck in the old mindset of thinking I can do stuff, and then when I try doing it, realising I can't.
Well, I think we all suffer from that a bit sometimes.
Yeah, what has happened to chat tonight? It has been absolutely dead. Come on, guys. It's almost as if we're here on a private hangout.
I was dead. I got kicked out on the loud back and apologised, and I'm trying to be on my best behaviour, but I won't hold back too much either. So if you want some lively chat, then ask me a weird question and I'll give you a crazy answer.
Well, no, see, this is it. This is not a question and answer session. This is literally a group of us. We get together. Me and Cakes. We have our what we want to talk about at the beginning, and then when we invite guests on, it's just then it becomes a conversation, just a chit chat.
Actually, I was there within a couple of minutes of you starting, and I listened to the whole of the beginning of the chat, and I thought it was great. I actually thought that, well, there's not that many YouTube channels you could just pop on, and you're going to get stuff that's actually that detailed and that relevant to what we're struggling with these days, because all these kinds of things are being thrashed out on the internet, aren't they? You know, speech, free speech and censorship. It's all, look at all the banned videos, the TED Talks and stuff. It's like, there's still a lot of censorship going on, because essentially, if it's not the dark web, if it isn't the dark web, it can be censored. And I nearly studied AI at Edinburgh University, for enough, at St Andrews, yeah, Jed. They're a really good centre for AI. Now, I didn't get the grades to go, so I never went. And I kind of like missed it really. I wish I had. Plus, I had my accident at that time of my life anyway, so I was never going back to university.
But again, AI is pretty sinister, and I think people are going to start waking up to it later this year, because there's a movie coming out called June 2020, and the whole ethos behind that. Well, hopefully it will be included. Is they've gone past AI because they realise the dangers of AI, and I mean also there's a bigger picture of not following charismatic leaders and stuff like that just because they're charismatic and stuff. But I'm hoping, this June 2020 will wake a lot of people up this year. So.
But you see, AI isn't the threat. Like computers isn't the threat.
No, it's the people that control it, the threat.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that's right. Yeah, I think everyone kind of here knows that. But it's still good to sort of like reiterate it, you know, because AI can be used for good and bad. Computers can be used for good and bad. You know, tanks can be used for good and bad. Even the shotgun can be used for good and bad, can't it? Prevent, kill.
A hammer, a stick,
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice all-seeing eye. You see all.
But this is the thing, and this is what it comes down to, and like I say, with the whole freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and that kind of stuff. It's It's like I'm a firm believer that whatever the government can have, the people should have. So if the government have got like fucking F-16s and aircraft carriers, then the people should be able to own
Yeah,
fucking
but how on earth would
F-16s
we administer
aircraft
money
carriers.
No, we're listen, compared to the technology of the government and the shadow government and probably echelons of society that are above that or beyond or underneath that, they've got stuff that we can't even imagine right
Oh
now.
we're about 50 years behind technology-wise.
Well, the technology is where it's just coming
they apparently.
black technology, yeah, never mind black ops. You're talking grey ops, then you're talking something probably below that or above that, where we don't even know they're experimenting with it. You know, like stuff that was being mind control techniques that were being used 40 years ago, or even further back than that, 50 plus years ago.
This is where all the pre-programming in movies comes in, and why I look so closely at the movies and stuff, because it's the movies that tell us how things are going to turn out in the future.
Yeah, that's
because you see it all the time now. You see, you say, "Oh, I was watching that movie years ago. It's happening now." I was watching, and
anything you see on sci-fi can come into reality, can't it? Yeah, I agree, mate.
No, anything we can imagine has possibilities. It doesn't necessarily mean it's possible, but again, it's not always straight in your face. It is sometimes you've got to be quite esoteric in it. You've got to like read round corners and stuff, but it's all there. It's like I'm rewatching Voyager at the moment, and there's a race called the Vidian that are like the plague race, and literally on one episode earlier today they were talking about lockdowns and fucking all that kind of stuff. Now people were getting in trouble and shit. This is back in the 90s.
And harvest technology. Did they steal and harvest both physical as well as technology off of other races when they were in between? Because they're in the Delta Quadrant. I remember Voyager.
That's not the point. The issue is, like I say, the pre-programming is what I'm talking about. The issue is they're talking about the lockdown and stuff, or lockdowns of a plague-ridden society that lives on lockdown and stuff, basically. And this is back in the 90s. It's, like I say, it's predictive programming. It's getting us ready. It's getting these ideas installed in our subconscious.
Yeah, sorry, I see your point now. I see your point much more clearly. Yeah. What about the thing that somebody told me about, where it was written in the 1984 about there being a plague in 2020 that would be man-made?
No, that was a Michael Crichton book, wasn't it? That was something else.
Do you think that's just a coincidence, or do you think that there might be
No, again, it's just pre-programmed. It's just all part of the pre-programming. I do not believe in coincidences.
Well, you see, the trouble with that is that there are coincidences, and some of them have conspiratorial
Hey, what's that, Lee?
elements. This coronavirus, this pandemic has been planned for years. They knew it was going to come out. They knew it.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I don't think a lot of us knew it was going to come out like this. Like, we knew there was the Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030, but I'm not quite... Because, like I say, but this all matches up with the timing of that. But I don't think we really knew exactly how it was going to happen.
Like an Agenda 20, but no one really knew that much about it.
I've never heard of Agenda 20.
Well, that's what I mean. Neither have I. I just made it up.
Oh, right.
But I know what you mean about the other agendas. They're there. They're real. They're in plain sight. They hide the information in plain sight with the disinformation and with
Agenda 21 is an official UN document, like planning
how
the society should be in the future,
managed,
like greener and fucking managed, like eco-managed and fucking lower populations and controlled fucking breeding and shit like that. Just crazy ass liberal green shit.
Well, and it's happening. Like I say, this is ticking all the boxes for it. So.
What else is in that then, Jed, that you know about that you can share? What else is in that agenda?
The Agenda 21. God, I remember the Agenda 21 thing was kicking around about 3 or 4 years ago, and I might go and looking through the thing a couple of times, and then I kind of thought, this is just another fucking bit of propaganda. You got us fucking scared.
Yeah, until now.
It looks pretty. It looks like it's kind of happening. Fucking hell.
As they
like
say,
veganism, especially when this whole veganism thing, I was like, why are they pushing this so hard? This vegan thing. I mean, I was like, does this tie in with this Agenda 21?
It is one way to solve food supply problems, isn't it? If people become vegetarian, pescatarian, and vegan, it will completely lower the strain on land usage meat production and consumption, transportation, it will cut the food cost in terms of environmental cost by something like 2/3 if everybody became vegetarian in the space of a few years or something crazy like that. Somebody somewhere worked it out.
Isn't going to happen, is it? I
No,
mean,
of
let's
course
face
it
it. I mean,
all these companies pushing burgers everywhere. No, of course not. But
no, it will be, like I say, it will be something that will be forced on the population. It won't be something that will be adopted by the entire population.
I don't think it'll be
Not in
forced.
my opinion.
I think meat will have a tax on it. Just like there's some stuff with sugar tax right
Oh,
now.
yeah,
I think there'll be
yeah.
some kind of
Well,
meat
the whole
tax
thing-
in the
yeah,
future. It'll be
definitely.
just too expensive to eat meat. And
Definitely.
Well, it's
people
not
just
even that.
Yeah, I
settle
With
think
the
you're
whole
right.
sugar tax thing, if you notice, now if you go to the shops, because I used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola.
Had a
I mean,
horrible
but a lot of you
drinking.
might know that. I used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola. And when I started going to the shops, it was always, these aisles were filled with Coca-Cola. And then this sugar tax came in, and all of a sudden, it was like Coca-Cola, tiny little here, and then it's diet, fucking zero, diet, fucking crap. And what's happened is you will just won't be able to buy it soon. Not because you can't, because it's not like because
Supply and demand.
the demand isn't there, but because the supply isn't there.
No, I think
Yeah.
Well, the little corner shops here are now selling like Fanta for like £1.50 because it's full sugar. It's like full sugar Fantas. I think they're for the States or something. They're like 80% sugar syrup, these Fantas, but they're like £1.50. It's like a black market now for sugary stuff. Because you can't get them in Sainsbury's or fucking. You have to go to your wee corner shop to get these Fantas. You know what I mean? These imported Fantas from Mexico.
There's a sweet shop. There's a sweet shop in Solihull, and it's called Ye Old Sweet Shop, and they stock all of like the diet. The Dr. Pepper floaty and the strawberry Fanta and blueberry Fanta and grape Fanta and all the Fantas that we don't have, and Kool-Aid that are all like you say 75% sugar, but they're all like near £2 for them. I mean, they taste fantastic. Can't beat some real sugar, can you?
No, I agree.
But yeah, I don't think that if we had AI making decisions on anything, how would we know if it was actually AI and not they who are making the decisions? And that's very true.
You'll never know.
No, it is very true. And as long as there is a they, it will ultimately be they that make the decisions.
Yeah, they'll be behind it.
And like I say, this is going to be hopefully an issue that's covered by June 2020. Because like whether you guys out there take notice of movies, public do, and this, like I say, so I'm hoping that the public do take note to June 2020, or the messages that are behind the books at least. So.
Very doubtful that the general population will.
No, it does kind of wake people up in a way, or makes them more aware, and then if you catch them at the right time with the right kind of talk, then obviously you can get them to start seeing other points of view. So.
Well, if you look at our society now, most things from censorship to taxation to various things like these agendas to how services are administered and where the money goes, it's all top down. It doesn't come from us, the voters, really anymore, does it? And it never really has, I don't think. We elect people.
No, it used to. This is the thing. I mean, governments used to work for us because otherwise we used to revolt.
Why don't we have voting online for various things like, what to do with this chunk of money and that chunk of money? It wouldn't be difficult to poll the population. We can manage to do it to whether we stay in Europe or not. You could do it for various things now and again periodically as to, well, how much tax should we put on sugar? How much tax should we put on fuel? They just don't want us to control it, because if we did, the whole playing field of politics would look completely bloody different, wouldn't it?
That's not how government works. You wouldn't even be able to really call that government anymore. You'd have to call that something else.
The head of the debate club.
Yeah.
Okay, it would be a voter-led government, wouldn't it? Be more like proportional representation.
Well, no, because the problem with voting is unless everyone is forced to vote, voting doesn't work.
No, but it's just the people who could be asked to vote make the decision. Like the people who could be asked to vote whether we stay in
Yeah,
Europe.
and that's not good.
But
That's
then
not
you
good for
have
any
to-
society,
but-
because then it's only the
but-
people that want something that are going to get what they want.
Yeah, but
And
all
then
those
you
who
also
haven't
have to-
voted don't have a say. So shit.
But you also have to think: do these voters have the best interest for the general public? Like,
No,
do you have the best interest for me?
most
Probably
people don't.
not.
They just think about
But
themselves.
that's the point. If we
So do
have
politicians.
but we have employed a government to make decisions that are best for us. That is
In an
their
ideal
job.
world, but let's look at how they actually behave and what they actually do. Do you think that they really actually do that? I don't think so.
No, exactly. No, they don't. No, they don't. But that is the purpose of a government, and that's what Dee was saying. They wouldn't be called a government anymore. That is a voting committee.
Doesn't matter. Maybe
That
we
is a
need
debate
politicians.
club. Like,
Maybe that's what we
none
need.
of us here can deny that the system that we have at the moment is it's just garbage. None of us can deny that. The system that we have at the moment is not the correct system to lead a country and to make decisions for a country and whatnot. But it is the system that we have. And in an ideal world, what a government is supposed to do, and what Dee was saying the government did do, was make decisions that's best for the general public. They don't do that anymore. They make decisions that's the best for like G4 and
There's no, in a way, they're still doing what we want. The reason the government is like it is because, like I say, because we don't revolt anymore. We used to revolt, and that's what kept governments in line. Now we don't revolt. Governments have gone out of control.
It's only if you do a mass blockade like in France, where all the truck drivers stop the whole economy. We don't seem to be able to organise ourselves to do that in Britain, but we could actually do that if we don't.
No, apparently there was this big march to London to protest this lockdown on Saturday.
Anyway.
And
people
hardly
were
anyone
looking...
turned up, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we just have to.
I mean, well, to be fair, I only found out 2 days before it was happening. Otherwise, I probably would have at least tried to get there.
Because anyone who organised it would have been in trouble because you're not allowed to do such a thing during the lockdown. That's the whole idea. So they can sit there and change.
There's no law against it. There's guidelines against it. They haven't changed the law. There's only guidelines against it.
So now is the time.
Then. Pardon?
Now is the time to fight it then, really, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, logically it is, but the problem is that the general public don't want to mess with the status quo in fear of going to prison or having their kids taken off them or having basic human rights taken off them, because that's what our government can do.
Yeah, it's understandable, but we should still try to do something more about it, I think, and organise ourselves and gang up.
I think that's again something we all agree on. Something needs to be done. The trouble is we can't all agree what needs to be done, and not enough of us are prepared to do it when it comes down to doing it anyway, because we're all too scared.
I'm not organised enough.
So you can't organise it because the problem is I actually don't trust most people to stay non-violent.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be impossible to really organise a non-violent protest because even if our side stayed non-violent, we all know there are controlled opposition players out there that will start fights and start riots and everything. So that gives an excuse. So again, they have a way to stop it. It's the only way, literally, the only way we can stop now is when they put the lockdown. It was when they stopped the lockdown. Is to everyone to say, "Fuck you! I'm not going back to work." Shut the system fucking down.
You have to stop by like the Gandhi method by non-opposition, isn't it? Who's going to organise that then? We need another Gandhi in Britain.
No, we should all be Gandhi. This is the point. This is what movies try and tell you. What
Gandhi used to
people
sleep
who
with
are
little
actually
girls.
halfway awake try and tell you.
Yeah, I know. Look, it wasn't a perfect
Gandhi
example.
used to sleep with little girls.
You get the principle though, Jed. Forget the Gandhi himself, the Gandhi method, and nothing to do with
I don't own flip-flops.
I never knew Gandhi used to
Gandhi
sleep
was a
with little
pedo.
girls.
Gandhi was a pedo, mate.
That's
I don't know about that. mate.
Same with Mother Teresa. They try and put Mother Teresa on a fucking pedestal. She was an evil bitch. The journalist went over to her hospital somewhere. I can't remember where it was. But all the kids were fucking lying on the floor and all that. And the journalists were disgusted at the conditions they were in. They weren't even getting fed. They were just like left to die. They were like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And she was like, "Oh, God will take them. God will deal with what's going on." And she used to go around all the countries receiving. She had a sainthood and everything. She was an evil, greedy fucking bitch. And it's the same with fucking Gandhi, and it was the same with fucking Nelson Mandela. He was a fucking terrorist that was quite happy to blow up fucking schools with all these people. That's what they're doing. That's reverse psychology. They're getting us worshipping fucking Satanists, evil fuckers. They're getting us worshipping these cunts. Oh, they're great. They've got great agendas and shit. No, they're not. Fuck them.
No.
Pedo.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the blind liberals who think Hillary Clinton's a fucking saint.
Oh my God, no way.
All the psychopaths that think Hillary Clinton's amazing and she's, oh God.
But
I don't know how it happened, but I watched the third part of the debates the other night, the presidential debates. And oh my fucking God, I can see why truthers thought Trump was going to be this fucking godsend.
Oh, you bitch. Sorry, my cat bit me.
Cat got you again?
Oh, different cat, yeah. Fuck's sake. Why is it with my animals attacking me today? Jesus Christ.
They don't like you not having their attention. They don't like you to have your attention being elsewhere.
I was stroking her. She was having a load of fuss. Yeah, and then she bit me.
The only way, in my eyes, the only way in my eyes, Trump could have been legitimate is if he blew the cover on something we've all been suspicious about. Something like the JFK assassination, the fucking moon landings, and the MK Ultra project, and something big. If he came out and said, "Do you know what? We've been behind all that shit, and I'm here. I'm going to change that shit." You'd be like, "Wait, Trump is the real deal here. He's fucking he's not came out wearing new. He's supporting Israel. He's doing all the same shit all the other guys done."
Yeah.
But even worse, he's a new breed.
Yeah, he's a new.
But I was going to say before, when you're talking about public servitude, the Bible kind of taught that shit, man. With Jesus, when Jesus was cleaning the feet, the people, he was washing their feet, and even though they were following him, he was their servant. He was serving them. Yeah, it's like a kind of like a metaphor for public servitude. Even though he's their leader, they're following him. He wouldn't exist without them. So he was that metaphor of washing their feet. And that's what our politicians should be doing with us, washing our fucking feet, because they wouldn't exist with us. You know what I mean?
It's like the early royalty, the early kings and stuff. They were like the ones that were first into battle. They were the ones that were always the first to do. Like, like, and
back in the good old feudal days. But yeah, I know what you mean.
And I'm like talking way back. I'm like not even talking about the kings we know about, if you know what I mean. Because by the time we knew about the kings, then it was bloodline, and it was nothing to do with you were a king because you were a good fucking leader. Like,
because you're born.
The fuck's that, Kicks?
It's a ruler.
Is this your vegan shopping list?
No,
vegan shopping
Dave,
list?
put it on. Put it on. Put it on big screen.
Right there.
Yeah, Roman Britain, 43, the English kingdoms. You back off a little bit, back away. Oh, yeah, Danish rule, William.
She's got the lines.
John, Henry. So where did it all go wrong then?
All the kings and queens, is it? Or just, queens as well?
Yeah.
It all went wrong at the beginning of that list then, didn't it?
It kind of went all wrong with the 1066 Norman invasion, I think.
Oh, yeah.
British history rules.
Because the Norman
did you go there with your school by any chance? Cool. Or did Freddie go there with his school?
No, this is mine. I've had this since I was like 8. And my mum gave me a pound.
Did you go on a school trip?
Yeah, my mum gave me a pound to spend in the shop, and instead of spending it on sweets, I bought a ruler.
That's just the kind of thing you pick up when you go on school trips. That's the only reason I asked.
And obviously I still use it because bitch needs to measure things.
It's surprising the wooden rulers lasted that long, because wooden rulers are usually shite.
So I've been really careful with it, and you can see like on the side it's got green from black pens that
I'm
I've
surprised
used.
that it hasn't got "I love so and so" written all over it from when you were at school.
No. No, that's on the textbooks. You don't ruin a perfectly good ruler. Like, why would I ruin a perfectly good ruler? Shut up, Ginger. But yeah, in case you guys ever need to know when the king of like a time period is, I can let you know because this ruler is always on this table. So if you need to know, we've got Cromwell on here as well. Where did he go?
Cromwell.
Somewhere.
The story I told earlier, I think it involves Cromwell.
A king killing Cromwell. Didn't that spark the Commonwealth? Well, who is doing dial tones? Because that needs to not happen.
Sorry, I thought I'd muted. I thought I'd muted.
I thought you were trying to connect to dial-up internet.
No.
I've muted him. Don't worry. You have to mute yourself when you finish your phone call.
I thought you were getting rid of the Arctic ceiling, Jed.
I have my whole house is fucking Artext.
Oh, okay.
This is next. My living room's next.
I was like, what work have you actually done?
Fucking Artext.
Have you had it checked for asbestos?
I don't think I need to. I think I know it's there. You know what I mean? It's a time period. It's a time period when it was done. It kind of fits in with the whole asbestos period.
Sorry about that.
Could be Thomas Beckett. Simon says it could be. Oh, yeah.
Simon says.
I'm tempted to Google.
Is that my dad?
Simon Swears. Simon Swears is the best one. You know that little computer game, Simon Swears? It's very funny.
No. I don't.
So where were you brought up, Manimal?
Me. I was brought up in a place that otherwise known as Nobagog, the place known as Cockermouth, which has the reputable school that I went to. It has there's nothing there except for a few shops, loads and loads of pubs per capita, and a really good school, and it's famous for being flooded horrendously and everyone having to be helicoptered away. And Wordsworth and William Wordsworth, that's where I was brought up mostly. And
all the gays, of course.
Is it? No, it's a very straight heterosexual population.
Cumbria, there we go.
Yeah, no, that's what they want you to think, but they call it Cockermouth for a reason.
There's one Asian guy in Cockermouth, and there are 4 Chinese, 3 black guys, and that's it, mate. I'm telling you, that is Cockermouth for you. It's white class, middle class, heaven.
That sounds like Devon.
Yeah, probably not so far different, to be honest, even though it's at the other end of the country. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to get involved there. Just you have a lot of farming haters, really. Do you remember when Wiley got booed off stage in Cumbria because he said some choice things about Cumbrians and farming? That's Cock Rock. That was a festival that we had there, and I was in charge of crowd control at that festival, and it was not easy when he slagged off the local people and had to get sort of escorted off stage. That was tough work.
Fucking snowflakes.
Yeah, what an idiot. What a total idiot.
I'm in the crowd, but sure.
Think about Cumbrians in Cumbria, and you're a black man and you're singing rap. You're going to get smashed up, aren't you? What an idiot. I can't remember what he said, but it was something really quite stupid.
Again, what were they doing there watching this guy if what you claim is true, that he's some black guy that none of them would like?
It's on YouTube. I'll find the video of him, what he did and what happened afterwards if you want. If you're interested, it's quite amusing.
Sounds like a publicity stunt to me.
Could well have been. But we had to get him off the bloody stage and get him safely away because he was going to get lynched. He was going to get punched up. Some black fella coming and slagging off Cumbrians in Cumbria. It just doesn't happen. Well, it happened one time.
It did happen.
He was lucky to escape without injury. There's a few of the people that were trying to protect him got injured. His punches were flying.
I think the crowd was probably just a bit snowflakey, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
the black man said some words that I didn't like. Oh, bubba.
Oh no, it wasn't.
What a shame.
Really quite. You don't know what he said. Let me find what he said because it was pretty shitty.
I was about to say that. What's the big insult to a Cumbrian? Like you shag sheep, or what is it? What's the main insult to a Cumbrian?
No. Good point. I don't even know. Wiley,
Like I'm from Edinburgh, so we get the insult.
You don't
You're a
care.
smackhead. You're on
You're a
heroin.
smackhead, you don't
Or
give a
like
fuck
if
anyway.
you're from Aberdeen, you're a sheepshagger because they're like
You
way
care.
up north, so they
Yeah.
get called sheepshaggers.
Good mate. Oh yeah, see, Wiley attacks Cumbrians as inbred pagans after being booed off stage. He called people inbred pagans after being booed off stage, which is quite a funny thing, isn't it?
So I just did my check-in. Yeah,
Christians, inbreds, and witches. He called them witches' children.
It's a bit weird.
Sorry.
It's a weird insult.
Of all the things you could say to somebody, you're an inbred witch.
well, it's a very English thing. Like I say, I mean that is maybe part of English culture, witchcraft and stuff. So,
So don't throw your stuff on stage and cry wolf when I have to leave the stage and get paid to leave. Fuck off and get your show. You sang every word now. Fuck off. That's what he said. Get the F out of here, you this country of witches and witches' children. Hear this, Cumbria, you can F off. He also tweeted, you bunch of invalids, bunch of cockings.
You can say fuck, it's okay.
Yeah, okay, well, it's all starred out on this article, so I'm just using the F instead of fuck. It's funny, though. I mean, I thought it was quite funny at the time. And I think it was.
So what's the point anyway? What's the point?
The point is that, well, it's very much to do with free speech, isn't it? In that he was a dickhead, and he said something that he didn't need to say, but he's free to say it. And so the consequence of that is that he was lucky he didn't get beat the fuck up off the stage at Cockrock.
Right, well, that's the beauty of free speech, that you've got to still face the consequences. You might be free to say it,
I agree.
but there might be consequences.
Yeah. You're free to accept the consequences as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
If you read further, it says further down the police were actually considering prosecuting him for hate speech, but they decided not to. This is an independent article, mate. This is in the Independent, so it must be true.
Oh, it must be true, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I did just check, and
anyway,
the story I told earlier, yeah, it was Thomas Becket who got killed by a couple of knights who mistook Saint Clair. Henry II said.
So from 1154 to 1189, somewhere between then.
54 to 1189.
According to my ruler.
Oh. Who was it again?
Is Thomas Becket not like a Cockney sliming word, like for
Thomas Becket?
Swear, not Thomas Becket or something.
Thomas Becket
is it? But I don't know. I'm not up on my Cockney slang, to be fair.
No.
Oh, it's no Cockney slang, but I think it's like a phrase, a word. It's no Cockney slang. Sorry.
Your John Thomas is your cock, isn't it? But that's not Thomas Becket.
I'm sure I've heard it used enough.
I think you probably heard it in Scotland, because in Scotland they don't say fuck it, they say feck it. So Thomas Beckett's like feck it, isn't it? Would that not be true? You don't say fuck it.
It rhymes.
I say fuck off.
You
fuck
can
off.
say fuck, yeah, but they
Get to feck
as well. Get to feck. They say it in Cumbria a lot, you know. Feck it. Feck that. Feck that matter. Nay, feck that.
Right, anyway, I've just noticed it's fucking midnight, and no wonder I'm starting to dance around. I'll recommend this because my back is.
It's apparently slang for gay.
It was a delight. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Anytime, Jed.
Oh, there you go. It's apparently slang for gay.
Yeah.
Well,
is it?
Thomas Becket.
That's what the internet says,
right.
yeah.
I'm going to see my Thomas Becket mate tomorrow.
Maybe it's like you like to get your arse Thomas Becket. Like wreck it. I don't know.
I don't know. Tell me about it. I haven't tried it.
Fuck knows. I've heard it used in like a play once somehow. Fuck knows. Maybe someone used it to insult me. Someone called me Thomas Becket.
You need Thomas Becket. You need to get the right hat then, mate. The hat isn't Thomas Becket. I'm sorry.
I know. It's the wrong one tonight. Fuck it.
It's more that film with Tom Hanks. That film. What was that really good film?
Didn't they stab Thomas Becket in like Westminster or St. Paul's?
Well, no,
Chapel
like I say,
shit?
Henry II said to himself after an argument with the guy, he said, "Oh, will somebody not rid me of this like intolerable person.
Aye, and they
or
took it
something.
literally.
And
They
he's
took
not-
it literally,
took it
aye.
literally, yeah.
And
they
then
fucked
he
off and
grieved
killed
him. They grieved
yeah.
him because he's his best buddy or something, mate. He was his best buddy. He was
Yeah,
like,
it was
"Oh,
his. Well, we
did you
started
kill
off
him?"
as his mate, but yeah, they didn't end up friends.
Was it not his
It's one of those
boyfriend?
ones where
It's
you
not
call your mate
boyfriends,
a
aye.
CUNT.
Well, maybe
you
that's
have
why
to-
Thomas Beckett
what
is
you that
slang for
for?
gay. Maybe there was a gay overtones or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, anyway, D, cheers for having me
Are they
on,
all
mate.
Puritans, so they would
No,
have
And
hated
cheers,
it.
man.
cakes, sorry. D,
Thanks,
cakes.
Jed.
Both of you.
yeah.
Sandwich. I'm a D cake sandwich.
Cake sandwich.
Cheers, guys. Cheers,
Best price
Manimal.
for you to
Cheers, Gunnar, Vlad.
Cheers.
Yeah, Jed. Nice one, mate.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
and
gonna go-
cheers, guys, for popping by. Like I say, I'm sorry to cut it short, but my
No, you're all
back
good,
is
Steve.
singing, so yeah.
It's not.
A little bit, but
It's
I've
not
actually got to
short,
get
but
ready
it's
for
nine,
today.
isn't
I'm
it?
going
Been
to
on.
my today. I'm going on my
Been on.
Quite talking
journey
at
to
the same
labour, aren't I? So I need to make sure I'm ready to go. Going to do some paid labouring. Hey.
All right, then. Well, thanks everyone for popping by, and
Thank you.
hope to see you again next week at 9 p.m.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you
well,
guys.
it's
See you on
Sunday this
Sunday.
time, though.
Thanks for
Yeah, it'll be
hosting me.
Sunday. It'll be Sunday.
Then.
Bank
Are we
holiday
cool?
weekend. Don't forget.
Are we cool now? Am I
Yeah.
behaving a little bit better? I thought that was really good fun.
No, your mic has been no better for me whatsoever. So
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
then,
just get a better mic and we'll have a better time.
no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you. It doesn't matter where you put the mic. Your mic
the
is
same
not working.
Volume.
Yeah, it's the
No,
same
same.
volume whether it's right next to you or down on the floor. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I hear you. Right, it's got some kind of limitation on its sensitivity, and I don't know why. It's just software.
Right.
I'll get a new sound card because I've got a new one anyway. Got an X5 floating about somewhere. Thanks, guys.